Hey friends, hope you're all doing well. We're doing okay too, just really tired since we've been working non-stop. We wanted to answer a question many of you ask: how does our publishing process work? Most of our audiobooks are first posted on Patreon as paid content. They stay behind a paywall for a few months. After that, they become free to access on Patreon forever. Then, a few weeks later, we upload them to other platforms like YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, X. Lately, our community hasn't been growing much, and we could really use your help. Please share our site in your Facebook groups, Discord servers, Reddit threads, Twitter, X, or with any friends who might be interested. Every little bit helps and we really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for being with us and supporting what we do. Makaze was silent for a while, and then said, Sakamo is definitely not a person who would give up his life easily. There is definitely a reason behind this that only he knows. Other reasons? Kakashi muttered. Yeah. Makaze said firmly. So, for what exactly did Sakamo commit suicide for? Kakashi doesn't know, and Makaze also doesn't know. But there will always be a day when Kakashi finally knows the truth, and maybe, that day is not far away from now. Chapter 347 Prelude to Destiny. After Kakashi finished talking with Makaze, he told Makaze to keep the matter as secret. Makaze understood the reason, so he agreed. After leaving from the Genjutsu's world, Kakashi left. Makaze, who is now alone with his unconscious teammate, is showing a contemplating look. What happened today made the young Makaze suddenly know too many things that shouldn't be known. He suddenly felt that he needed to change his way of life. More than 10 years, not only for myself, but also for the illusory future. It really makes me feel the heavy burden. Makaze murmured. At this moment, Chitos, who was sleeping on the side, moved her finger and woke up immediately. Chitos, are you awake? Makaze said in surprise. Chitos touched her dizzy head and said, Makaze. Where's this? Are we dead? Of course not, we succeeded. That Hidden Stones village's Jonin is dead, said Makaze. Really? That's great. Chitos said excitedly, but then she feels sad again. Unfortunately, we can no longer see Amaru. Makaze felt his heart felt a lot heavier after hearing this. Yeah, Amaru is dead and would never return. The lives that weren't taken by the war are so easily disappeared here. This may be the fate of shinobi, never knowing when they will die. Makaze muttered, Amaru, a hero, will always live in our hearts, and his name will always remain on the memorial stone. Yeah. Chitos nodded. Then Chitos looked at Sandon, who is on the side, and said, Makaze, is Sandon-sensei all right? He's okay. He just needs some time to rest to get his strength back. It's already dark outside. We will be staying here tonight. We should rest for now and make plans after Sandon-sensei wakes up. Okay. The weather is cloudy outside, and a light rain slowly began to fall. Kakashi walked alone in the forests, the rain is already drenching his hair. Just now, there seemed to be someone looking at Uchiha Makaze in the dark during the battle. He had a strong presence, but he didn't have much malice. Who would it be? Kakashi muttered to himself, but couldn't think of an answer. The man seemed to be just passing by, he didn't chase after Makaze and left after the battle ended. It seemed like he had just watching a good show, and then left with satisfaction. Is it Madara Uchiha? Kakashi murmured. Kakashi knows that during this period of time, there are only a few people that have such powerful presence, and Madara Uchiha is the one of them. The rest should all be Kage from the other villages, and maybe they are just wandering and saw the battle. If it's Madara, is he targeting Makaze? Kakashi frowned, feeling something bad in his mind. Makaze's talent is outstanding, but he belongs to the late bloomer type, which is somewhat similar to Obito. In the end, they are father and son, and there is not much difference in their talent. After all, in the Naruto world, the strength of bloodline is not a joke. Generally, if the father is very powerful, the son or daughter will not be weak. Kakashi suddenly thought that perhaps it was not accidental that Madara was targeting Obito. Maybe Madara was targeting Obito because he is Makaze's son. Could it be? Kakashi suddenly thought of something. It was not very clear, but there was a faint thought in his mind. I should put aside this matter for the time being. The Dragon Vein's energy is still accumulating. Although the energy consumed this time is not much, it will still take a while before I can use it. Then, what's next? Kakashi stood in the rain, no one knows what he was thinking. Soon after, Kakashi took out a Hiroshin no Jutsu's kunai and looked at it with a smile. Maybe I should go see the situation there. Then Kakashi disappeared from that place. For more than 15 years, the situation in the shinobi world has been constantly changing, and the conflicts between villages have become more and more prominent. The Second Shinobi World War has inevitably happened. Those who were little boy in those days have now become middle-aged men. This year, Hidden Leaf Village is 35 years old, Uchiha Mikaze is 32 years old, and Tsukumo Hatake is 30 years old. On the battlefield, Mikaze couldn't help but recall the memory from the 15 years ago. As the young man who claimed to be Tsukumo's son said that day, his child was born, and his son name is Obito. As that person said, Tsukumo also has a son named Kakashi. Mikaze knows that everything the man said is true. The so-called future is real. So, is this the year when I will die? He originally had been uneasy, but at this moment, Mikaze has never been calmer than ever. Is death terrifying? If it was the 17-year-old Mikaze, he would say that it is very terrifying, for Mikaze, who is now 32 years old. Death is not terrifying, because he knows that in this world, there are things more terrifying than death. Inside a tent, Mikaze sat quietly, and suddenly, a middle-aged man with silver hair came in. Mikaze smiled and said, "Tsukumo, why are you here?" "The front line is in tight situation. Lord Hokage asked us to join the front line and support it." Tsukumo directly stated his purpose. The smile on Mikaze's face gradually diminished, and there was a feeling in his heart, as if something called death was calling him. Nodding solemnly, Mikaze said, "I understand, let's go." "Yeah." The two then set off and rushed to the front line. The two had just won a war before, and at this time, they rushed to another battlefield again. The battlefield location is called Hidden Rain Village. Wind, earth, and fire. The three great countries set the battlefield in the Land of Rain, so as to avoid the impact of war in their own countries. As for the Land of Rain being destroyed, the great countries would never care about it. War would inevitably cause death. As long as the person who died is not their own people, they don't care if more people from the other countries died. "Mikaze, it seems that your condition is not that good." "What's the matter?" Tsukumo suddenly said. "It's okay, I just have a feeling." Yufeng whispered. "What do you feel?" Tsukumo asked curiously. Mikaze shook his head and said, "Tsukumo, if I die, please help me take care of Obito." Hearing this, Tsukumo frowned and said, "Mikaze, with your ability, there's no way you would die, unless it is a combination of Sushi Kage and Kazi Kage. But don't forget that I am here as well. So how could I let you face those terrifying opponents alone?" "Don't worry." Mikaze sighed and said, "I hope so." Mikaze then touched his eyes, and secretly thought, "I already have these eyes, so I should be able to change my destiny." Looking up, Hidden Rain Village is already in front of him. Chapter 348 Spying Eyes in the dark underground lair, an old man with white hair was looking at the huge wooden golem in front of him. If anyone with the original plot knowledge is here, they will know that this is the legendary Jidomazo. Is this the body of the legendary Ten Tails? It is spectacular. The old man muttered to himself, and then turned around. His old face made him look a little haggard, but his eyes looked piercing. Concentric circles covering his eyeballs, looking mysterious. "Rinnegan." The old man touched his eyes and looked a little excited. "Sure enough, is this the power recorded on the stone tablet?" "Rinnegan." Madara Uchiha has finally succeeded. If anyone hears these words here, they will be really shocked. Rinnegan and Madara Uchiha are both legendary existences in the shinobi world. Madara looked at his arm and said in a low voice, "Unfortunately, this Rinnegan came too late. With my body now, I am afraid I don't have much time to implement my plan. Sure enough, I can only get the Rinnegan for now. Then, I will use Rinnegan's strength in the future to let me return to this world. I wonder if there is any news from White Zetsu." Just after Madara finished speaking, a white figure emerged from the ground. The spiral head looks quite happy. Seeing this, Madara felt a slight joy in his heart, and said, "White Zetsu, what is the situation?" White Zetsu Ren respectfully said, "Lord Madara, I have found a suitable child that you are looking for. The child is named Nagato, a member of the Uzumaki clan. His physique is extremely powerful even if it is not as good as Senju Hashirama's. Right now, he is still 6 or 7 years old, so it is to transplant the Rinnegan to him." "Oh? I didn't expect you would find such a good thing in such a short period of time. You did a good job. So, where is this child?" Madara said. "In the Land of Rain." "The Land of Rain?" "Right now, that place seems to have become the battlefield of wind, earth, and fire. It's really interesting." Madara laughed. "Yes, Lord Madara. By the way, Lord Madara, during my investigation, I also found an interesting person." "Who?" "It's the Uchiha Mikaze who Lord Madara has ordered to be observed specially all these years. He went to the Land of Rain with Hidden Leaf Village's White Fang, seeming to be supporting the Hidden Leaf Village's shinobi there," White Zetsu said. "Uchiha Mikaze." Madara closed his eyes and pondered for a moment, and then he said, "That kid's talent is not bad. He has the ability to awaken Sharingan. I heard that he has a son. Yes, his name is Obito Uchiha, he's almost 3 years old this year. Oh? What a good candidate. Madara smiled, a meaningful smile that would make people shudder. Lord Madara, what do you want to do next? White Zetsu asked. I want to go to the land of rain. With my condition right now, I should be able to last for at least 10 more years. Although the physique of the Uzumaki clan is very powerful, it may take more than 10 years for that Nagato to fully adapt to Rinnegan. Therefore, we must transplant the Rinnegan now. This way, I can judge whether this Nagato is suitable or not. At the same time, I also need a pair of excellent Sharingan to replace the Rinnegan. That Uchiha Mikaze's Sharingan is just right. Yes, Lord Madara. Madara glanced at the Judomazo again, and his eyes are glowing with fanaticism. Mutant Tsukami. 10 tails. Rinnegan. This world must live under the rule of me, Madara Uchiha. Hashirama, my path is right. The Hashirama cells that were transplanted on Madara's body for many years finally awakened his Rinnegan not long ago. What followed were this Judomazo and White Zetsu. At the same time, Madara finally confirmed that the content on the stone tablet is true. When he owned the Rinnegan, he finally knows how powerful this pair of eyes is. It is a pity that Madara has lost his young body. Although the Rinnegan is powerful, it can't make him immortal. Therefore, Madara made his plan. And the first step of this plan is to find someone who can use the power of the Rinnegan. In the future, his successor will use this person to resurrect him. At that time, he will return to this world with his peak strength. Of course, the plan is very long, and he needs to plan slowly. The Land of Rain. After being a hikikomori for many years, Madara finally came out again. Uchiha Mikaze, who wasn't far away from the Land of Rain, did not know that at this time, a man named Madara Uchiha is targeting his eyes. On a high mountain somewhere in the Land of Rain, Kakashi, who is dressed in white, is sitting cross-legged. A steady stream of natural energy is pouring into Kakashi's body. The looming red markings kept flashing on Kakashi's face. Suddenly, Kakashi opened his eyes, and his left eye looked very strange. I finally succeeded. So this is Shikatsu Forest's Senjutsu. I didn't expect it will be this hard. It took me more than half a year to finally let these 3 powers coexist in my body. Kakashi said that the red markings on his face instantly faded, and at his back, a red tomoe was condensed. At this time, Kakashi had 3 tomoe patterns on his back. 1 silver, 1 purple, 1 red. And these 3 tomoe patterns symbolize the 3 great holy lands Senjutsu. Mount Mayabaku, Rishi Cave, Shikatsu Forest. The 3 great holy lands Senjutsu have all been successfully mastered. Now, I just need to merge them. Adhering to the principle of eagerness, Kakashi did not hesitate to release these 3 cursed seals at the same time. After a few seconds, 3 types of Senjutsu chakra burst out at the same time, filling Kakashi's body. This feeling of power. Kakashi's face showed an expression of joy, but after a moment, Kakashi's expression changed drastically. The red, purple, and orange eyeshadows interlaced on Kakashi's face, looking weird. No. The 3 great holy lands Senjutsu can't be controlled at all. They must be dispersed. Kakashi secretly thought in his heart, and then he immediately formed a hand seal with his hands, dissipating all the natural energy in his body. Puff! A mouthful of blood spurted from Kakashi's mouth, but his face returned to its original state. I'm too impatient. It seems that I need to slowly find a way to merge them. But looking at the situation just now, it is not impossible for them to be fully integrated. What I'm lacking is the method. Kakashi wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and he felt a little surer in his heart. Compared with the huge reaction created by the integration of the 2 Senjutsu before, the backlash this time was much smaller. Then, it can be said that he is moving in the right direction. And as long as he got the right direction, he will succeed sooner or later. The matter of Senjutsu's integration should be put aside for now. I am afraid that it will not be peaceful in the next few days. Kakashi stood up and looked at the scenery below the mountain. The wind is strong and the rain is pouring. This country that has been raining all the year round has become a bloody battlefield at this time. As a battlefield, there are too many dead people here. In the days to come, the number of the dead people will only increase. Chapter 349 Sneak Attack with the Dragon Veins. Kakashi traveled in time again and came to this timeline. The Second Shinobi World War. This war took no more than 3 years to end, but it was these 3 years that made a lot of Hidden Leaf Village's shinobi famous. Hidden Leaf Village's Sannin and Hidden Leaf Village's White Fang are among the best. Hidden Leaf Village's Sannin became famous after their battle against the leader of Hidden Rain Village, Hanzo of the Salamander, while the Hidden Leaf Village's White Fang became famous for fighting with against Hidden Sand Village. With a sword in his hand, he killed a lot of strong expert from Hidden Sand Village, including Sasori's parents. Kakashi stood on the mountain, and red eye shadow appeared on his face. Sage mode. Kakashi closed his eyes, and his perception shrouded the entire Hidden Rain village. After a while, Kakashi opened his eyes. It seems that Mikase hasn't arrived yet. Kakashi pondered for a moment. According to the time recorded in Uchiha clan's history scroll, Uchiha Mikase was killed in the Land of Rain. The time of his death is almost about this time. Destiny, can it be changed? Kakashi muttered to himself. Tsukumo and Mikase have already arrived at the outskirts of the Land of Rain. Mikase, after passing through this forest, the place where Hidden Leaf Village's army is stationed at will be in front of us. We should rush over there as soon as possible. After all, Hidden Sand Village and Hidden Stones Village may attack Hidden Leaf Village's base camp at any time, said Tsukumo. Okay. The two rushed all the way, and finally joined Hidden Leaf Village's army before dark. When the two arrived, the Hidden Leaf Village's shinobi was surprised. Who are you? A shinobi is wearing Hidden Leaf Village's flak jacket jumped out, and behind him, there is a dozen of Hidden Leaf Village's shinobi wearing the same clothes. Tsukumo took out the scroll from Hokage and said, Hidden Leaf Village Jonin, Tsukumo Hatake, Uchiha Mikase, are ordered to command the Hidden Leaf Village's army here. The leader of the Hidden Leaf Village's shinobi walked over after hearing this and took the scroll from Tsukumo's hands. After checking the content, he said, Welcome Tsukumo-sama, Mikase-sama, you are finally here. Hidden Sand Village and Hidden Stones Village have joined forces to declare war on us, and the declaration of war has been delivered. Tsukumo then took the declaration of war, and opened it. After seeing the content, his brows couldn't help but frown. Tsukumo, what is the situation? Asked Mikase. Mikase, it seems that the situation is not that good. Hidden Sand Village and Hidden Stones Village are attacking from two different directions. It seems that we are going to split up and fight separately. Split up? Mikase murmured. Well, this is the only way. Otherwise, if there is no one to stop them, they will drive straight into the territory of the Land of Fire. If that happen, the situation will be terrible. Tsukumo said seriously. No one knows why the original three-way war became 2 against 1 at this time. The leader of Hidden Leaf Village's shinobi then said, Tsukumo-sama, according to the information we just obtained, Hidden Rain Village seems to be quite dissatisfied with our battle in the Land of Rain. Coupled with the provocations of Hidden Sand Village and Hidden Stones Village, they seem to be interested in joining this war. It's just that their leader, Hanzo of the Salamander, is still waiting on the sidelines, but it maybe won't for long. After hearing this, the expression on Tsukumo's face becomes uglier. Hanzo of the Salamander is called the demigod, and is very powerful. Although Tsukumo has never seen him with his own eyes, he can still feel the pressure from this name. Mikase opened his mouth and said, Tsukumo, I am afraid that we need to ask for support. We are already in tight situation against Hidden Sand Village and Hidden Stones Village. If we add Hidden Rain Village as shinobi and his leader, Hanzo of the Salamander, we would have no chance of winning. Tsukumo nodded. Although he is confident, he was not arrogant. He knew the dangers and wouldn't let Hidden Leaf Village's people take the risks with him. I understand. Immediately release the messenger hawk, and ask Lord Hokage for support. Tell him to send a shinobi who can at least help us against Hanzo of the Salamander. Tsukumo said. The leader of Hidden Leaf Village's shinobi then answered, yes. In the tent late at night, Mikase and Tsukumo are talking with dim candlelight inside the tent. Under the dim light, the two were looking at a map, discussing how to face the siege of Hidden Sand Village and Hidden Stones Village tomorrow. Tsukumo, when I thought about it, the distance of Hidden Stones Village still far away from our base. Tomorrow, they definitely won't be able to attack our dangerous area, so I will lead a small team to carry out a sneak attack and cause chaos at the enemy's base camp. That way, you can get great advantages on the battlefield. Mikase said as he pointed to a place on the map. Tsukumo simply nodded and said, yeah, it's a good idea, but it's very dangerous. Mikase, let me go, my speed is faster. Mikase shook his head and said, Tsukumo, you are the Hidden Leaf Village's army commander during this war. There is no way you can lead a sneak attack casually. If you are gone, who will command the army? This. Well, Tsukumo, believe in my strength. There will be no problem. Mikase said with a smile. Seeing Mikase's firm expression, Tsukumo couldn't say anything. Patting Mikase's shoulder, Tsukumo then said, Mikase, be sure to come back safely, Obito is still waiting for you at home. Mikase smiled and said, do not worry, I understand. Although his face is smiling, the uneasiness in Mikase's heart becomes more apparent. Mikase knew that it would be dangerous to do this plan. But if the plan succeeds, the war can be resolved within a small area, and Hidden Leaf Village's losses will be minimized. In the face of such huge interests, it is worthwhile for Makaze to take the risks. The atmosphere in the tent was a bit weird for a while, and Sukamo also noticed the anxiety hidden under Makaze's smiling face. "Makaze, what's wrong?" Sukamo asked strangely. Makaze released a long sigh and said, "Sukamo, if I am unfortunately killed." Before Makaze could finish speaking, Sukamo shouted, "Makaze, did you forget what you have just said earlier? Why are you thinking like that?" Makaze was taken aback, and then smiled. "That's right. Well, it's late now, so I'll go back to rest first." "Okay." Looking at the back of Makaze who was leaving, Sukamo suddenly felt an illusion of death. "No, definitely not." Sukamo muttered to himself, and then clenched his fists. Early the next morning, Makaze led the 3 shinobi to implement his plan. Their target is the Hidden Sand Village's base camp. Passing through Hidden Sand Village's defense line, the 4 shinobi soon arrived at the Hidden Sand Village's base camp. Although there was a little trouble on the road, it was quickly settled with the help of Makaze. This is the role that a powerful expert can play in a war. Outside the Hidden Sand Village's base camp, Makaze said to the 3 shinobi, "I want the 3 of you to go and find Hidden Sand Village's food supply, and if it is possible, burn the food supply. I will go and find the leader of the camp." "Yes, Makaze-sama." After the 3 shinobi finished speaking, they spread out to find the location of the Hidden Sand Village's food supply. When Makaze saw this, the scarlet Sharingan emerged, and the 3 black tomoe kept spinning. "So, where is the leader?" On the other side, Sukamo has assembled Hidden Lee Village's army. "Sukamo-sama, the army has been assembled." Hearing this, Sukamo opened his eyes and said, "Let's go." Chapter 350 Collision. After a great battle, the battlefield fell silent. The white short sword in Sukamo's hand was stained with blood. "Sukamo-sama, there seems to be a problem at Hidden Sand Village's rear. We have won this battle." Sukamo nodded and said, "Makaze and the others should have succeeded." Although the battle was over, Sukamo didn't know why, but his heart was full of anxiety. What's going on? This feeling, is something happened to Makaze? Sukamo secretly thought, and the anxiety in heart became even stronger. "No, I have to go there and take a look immediately." Sukamo then said to another person, "Fukuyuki, lead everyone to clean the battlefield, and then return to the base. I will go to meet Makaze." After Sukamo finished speaking, he used flash steps to disappear, leaving Fukuyuki alone in a daze. But soon he reacted and took over the Sukamo's work. The scenes around him are blurred as Sukamo runs as fast as he can. Sukamo squeezed the short sword in his hand and murmured, "Makaze, wait for me." Somewhere in the land of rain, Sage Mode's mark reappeared on Kakashi's face, and a trace of surprise flashed in his eyes. Makaze has encountered a strong enemy? This chakra is so powerful, who can it be? Kakashi thought for a moment, and then he used flash steps, rushing towards Makaze's location. Let's rewind the time to an hour ago. With a head in his hand, 3 Hidden Leaf Village shinobi quickly gathered beside Makaze. Seeing the head, the 3 shinobi was a little surprised, but they quickly recovered. One of them then said, "Makaze-sama, all of Hidden Sand Village's food supply has been burned." "Good, the food supply is gone and the leader of this camp is also killed by me." With this, I think that Sukamo would have smooth victory over the Hidden Sand Village. "We will retreat now." "Yes." After Makaze and the 3 shinobi have walked halfway, suddenly, an old man with long hair appeared in front of them. Makaze was taken aback, and stopped quickly. One of the shinobi then said, "Who are you?" "Hidden Leaf Village is taking care of things right now, and if you have nothing to do here, please leave." "Haha, Hidden Leaf Village, it's really a nostalgic name." The old man sighed, revealing his unique eyes. Makaze was taken aback, and exclaimed, "Rinnegan?" "Haha, it seems that you are very surprised." "Indeed, how many people have seen this legendary eye?" The old man said with a smile. A shinobi then asks, "Who are you?" "Don't interfere with Hidden Leaf Village's affairs." The old man snorted coldly and said, "You're really noisy. I'll make this world a little quieter." The old man said, making hand seals with his hands, and said, "Wood style, cutting jutsu, what?" Everyone was surprised. Wood style? How could it be possible? Since the death of Lord First, no one in this world can use such ninjutsu. But in the next moment, their doubts will no longer have the chance to be solved. Arg! 3 screams sounded at the same time, and the 3 shinobi who followed Makaze has been stabbed in their hearts by the sharp wooden spikes that suddenly appeared. The sharp wooden spikes also moved towards Makaze, but Makaze was able to dodge it. Everything happened in just a blink of an eye. The Hidden Leaf Village's shinobi didn't expect that this seemingly weak elderly man would be using such a killer move. "Oh? What a good shunshin. You're worthy of being a descendant of my Uchiha clan," the old man said with a smile. Looking at the 3 dead companions in front of him, Makaze couldn't help but feel angry. Who are you? Me? You can call me Madara Uchiha. With a whisper, he uttered a name that was enough to make every shinobi tremble. Makaze's pupils shrank, and then said, Sure enough, you're still alive. Sure enough? Madara frowned. He has foreseen any reaction from Makaze when he heard his name, but he didn't expect of this one. You know that I am not dead? Stop blabbering, what do you want to do? Haha, you don't want to tell me? It doesn't matter, I have a way. As for what I want to do, it's very simple. Your eyes are very good. I just need a pair. Now, I want you to show me how far your eyes can see. Try to make me feel excited. Madara said with a sneer. What do you want to do? How come you are still alive? Asked Makaze. Oh? What an interesting junior. You want to question me? Interesting, well, fine, I have been bored after all these years. It's good to find someone to talk about it. Makaze was not in a hurry, quietly waiting for Madara to speak. During the battle at the Valley of the End, I knew that I couldn't beat Hashirama, so I set up Izanagi in advance and obtained Hashirama's cells. Madara said quite proudly. Over the years, Madara has been planning silently, but now that he finally sees the results, he can't help but want to find someone to share. This is the characteristic of all villains. Because they have planned so much, if they don't say it, they won't have any sense of accomplishment at all. Makaze's face was calm when he heard this, and the last bit of doubt in his heart disappeared. What the man called Kakashi said is true. Seeing Makaze's calm appearance, Madara felt a little frustrated. I told you such a big secret, why didn't you react? Madara was feeling angry. At the same time, he feels like a fool at this moment. It's really a subject that is not worth talking about, then give me your eyes. Makaze was surprised when he heard this. Now that the truth of the matter was already clear, he naturally wouldn't sit still and wait to die. In any case, Makaze knew that his eyes must not fall into the hands of the person in front of him. With both of his hands quickly forming hand seals, chakra lifted up from Makaze's chest and ejected from his mouth. Fire style, dragon fire jutsu, a huge fire dragon flew out of Makaze's mouth and shot towards Madara. Madara sneered and said, Fire release? What a joke. No one in this world is better at it than me. Let me show you the real fire release. Both of Madara's hands are also forming the same hand seals, but his speed is faster than Makaze. The same hand seals, the same ninjutsu. Fire style, dragon fire jutsu, boom. The two giant fire dragons collided in midair. With a loud noise, the expected evenly matched did not appear. Makaze's fire dragon was directly destroyed by Madara's fire dragon. Seeing this, Makaze's pupils shrank. What a terrifying fire release. As expected of the legendary Madara Uchiha, the terrifying fire dragon rushed towards Makaze. Although Makaze was surprised, the movements of his hands did not stop. After finishing the hand seals, Makaze muttered softly, Earth style wall. After the earth wall was just raised, it directly blocks the huge fire dragon. Boom. The fire dragon directly destroyed the earth wall to piece with its terrifying power. And the remaining fires blasted towards Makaze. After being blocked by 2 consecutive ninjutsu, the fire release has not been completely extinguished yet. Chapter 351 Mangekyo's reappearance. The flame still exists and closes at hand. Without any other choice, Makaze gathers chakra on his hands and take the remaining flame forcibly. The flame dissipated, and bursts of white smoke rose from Makaze's hands. Even after the scorching fire release has been blocked twice, Makaze still feels soreness in his hands when he forcibly blocks it with his hands. Fortunately, it didn't hurt him that much. What a terrifying fire release ninjutsu. It is rumored that Madara Uchiha's mastery fire release ninjutsu is extremely high. It seems that the rumor is not exaggerated to call him the strongest fire release user. And this is only just the most inconspicuous of all the Madara Uchiha's skills. Makaze thought to himself, and a shadow was cast in his heart. Too strong. With just one clash, Makaze felt that Madara is an opponent he can't defeat. Even if the other party seems to be very old. That withered body still contained extremely terrifying power. Oh? You can block it. It's really commendable. After all, there were not many people who could survive against my fire release. Madara smiled, a trace of appreciation appeared on his face, but it looks more playful. It's like a hunter who has found interesting prey, like a cat-and-mouse mentality. After years of silence, Madara is indeed a little bored. If it was not because of that, then Makaze would have been already killed by Madara. It is an honor for me to be praised by the legendary figure in the shinobi world, but I am afraid it won't be so easy to take my eyes. Makaze muttered. Oh? It depends on how good you are, but unfortunately, no one in this world can make me feels good except for Hashirama. Madara chuckled softly. Just when he said this sentence, a figure suddenly appeared in Madara's mind. That short-lived memories. Silver white hair, white windbreaker. Jintaki-sensei, I haven't seen you again since that time. I wonder if you will support my path today or not. Madara then shook his head. After all these years, he was almost dead, so there's no need to mention his former teacher, Jintaki. That person should have passed away long ago. After suppressing the thought that had suddenly appeared in his heart, Madara looked at Mikaze again. Mikaze saw that Madara's expression suddenly changed a bit before it returned to normal, which he felt a little strange. It seems that if I want to escape this time, I have to fight for death. Mikaze muttered to himself as he took out a kunai, and held it in his hand. Do you want to fight with your life on the line? In my eyes, even if you do that, you won't make any difference. Madara said coldly. That's not necessarily true. Under these eyes, even you can't handle it easily. As soon as Mikaze's voice fell, his scarlet Sharingan underwent a strange change. The original 3 black Tomoe spin very fast, and then they were connected end to end, turning into a single triangular Tomoe. Seeing this, Madara was a little shocked and said, that is Mangekyo Sharingan? The weird patterns, the surprising pupil power, all of this shows that Mikaze's eyes have reached the highest level of the Sharingan's normal evolution, the Mangekyo Sharingan. Mikaze's expression was solemn. After all, the reason for these eyes to be awakened was not something to be happy about. After witnessing the death of his wife, Mikaze awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan. Since Mikaze awakened it, he has never used it in front of anyone, so no one knows about it except himself. As a member of the Uchiha clan, Mikaze knows what this Mangekyo Sharingan means, so if anyone knows about it, it may be not a good thing for him. After being a little shocked for a moment, Madara calmed down, and then he smiled. What an interesting junior. I didn't expect that after me and Izuna, the Uchiha clan would have someone who can awaken the Mangekyo Sharingan. For you to have this power, it's really touching my heart. Come, show me your full strength. Let me take a good look at what kind of ability your Mangekyo has, and how powerful it is. Originally, Madara is fighting with Mikaze with playful mind. But after seeing this, he became a little serious. It was not that Mikaze's strength had made him feel scared, but because those eyes made Madara feels curious. This is the 3rd pair of Mangekyo Sharingan he has ever seen, so Madara is naturally interested in it. Mikaze tightened the grip on the kunai in his right hand and felt that his hand became a little sweaty. After facing this legendary figure of the shinobi world alone, Mikaze finally knew the real reason why these legends were called the legends. Very powerful. A word that already summarized everything. Mikaze knew that the way for him to win at this time is to use the ability of his eyes. Without the understanding the ability of my eyes, even Madara would have difficulty coping with it. After Mikaze has made up his mind, the silent atmosphere was broken in an instant. Mikaze moves. The kunai in his right hand was thrown, and then his hands get inside his ninja bag, taking countless shuriken instantly and then threw them at the same time. And then he formed hand seals with his hand. Shuriken Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Shuriken Shadow Clone Jutsu, the shuriken thrown multiplied, and then, a shuriken rain was formed in an instant. Oh? Interesting ninjutsu, but it's not enough. As Madara commented, his hands were not idle. After quickly forming some hand seals, he lightly shouted, wood style, wood locking wall. Only the tinkling sound was heard, and all the shuriken were blocked by the semicircular wooden wall. The defensive ability of the wooden wall is much stronger than that of the earth wall. After Hashirama, only Madara can use this wood release to the point of perfection. Mikaze was not overly surprised when he saw this. This level of ninjutsu was enough against ordinary people, but it would obviously not have much effect against Madara Uchiha. However, Mikaze's attacks have just begun at this time. Manipulated shuriken technique. Countless steel wires began to dance in Mikaze's hands, and the shuriken that were originally nailed to the wooden wall began to tremble. In an instant, the shuriken fly again. The kunai that Mikaze threw out first was also pulled towards the shuriken, and a big round of impact was formed in an instant, knocking all the shuriken back and forth. The shuriken get past the wooden wall with a circular arc, and once again forms the shuriken rain towards Madara Uchiha who is behind the wooden wall. All this may sounded long, but it happened only in a blink of an eye. Madara was slightly startled. Watching the rain of shuriken towards him, he re-evaluated Mikaze calmly. Interesting, using the wire and the previous thrown kunai to carry out the second attack with the shuriken. It's a great shuriken jutsu, but no matter how good the shuriken jutsu is, it won't ever be enough. Seeing the shuriken rain was about to hit his body, Madara stretched out his hands. Boom. Terrifying repulsion force spread from Madara's body, and the shuriken all bounced away completely. Only at this time Madara yelled, Almighty Push, Chapter 352 Unknown ability. What kind of ninjutsu is that? How could it repulse all the shuriken? Mikaze was surprised. He saw that Madara was radiating terrifying repulsion force to the surroundings, and in an instant, all the shuriken are bounced away. This. Could it be the perfect defense? Are you surprised? Such a wonderful ninjutsu. Even I was surprised when I saw it for the first time. Madara started talking to himself again, completely ignoring Mikaze. But, seeing Madara start talking again, Mikaze did not bother to stop it. After all, it's not a bad thing to know more about his enemy's ninjutsu's ability. This is the power of Rinnegan. You will feel that terrifying power. Under this power, you can only tremble. Madara said softly. There is no frivolousness in his words, but it makes people feel unparalleled arrogance after hearing it. That scary ability that has never been seen before is making the Rinnegan worthy of being the strongest high techniques from the 3 great high techniques. Madara doesn't know about my Mangekyo's ability, but I also don't know his Mangekyo's ability. Besides, he still has the Rinnegan. It seems that the situation is very bad. Mikaze secretly thought in his heart. Although your shuriken jutsu are good, for me, it's still not good enough. You should show me all of your strength, otherwise, you won't have any chance. Madara looked at Mikaze with indifferent expression. A bead of sweat is slipping from Mikaze's face. Taking a deep breath, and suppressing the fear in his heart, Mikaze knew that he would die if he continued like this. Everything has just begun, said Mikaze, and his Mangekyo Sharingan began to spin rapidly. Oh? Do you want to use your Mangekyo's ability? Interesting. Madara muttered, looking quite expectant. Yufeng rushed out with a vigorous step, and at the same time a kunai appeared in his hand. Mikaze waved the kunai, and Madara dodged it easily. Mikaze then threw another blow with his backhand, but Madara stretches out his left hand lightly to block it. Madara then whispered, although your skill is good, it is still not good enough. Mikaze ignored Madara's words as he raised his right foot and kicked Madara's chest. I said, it's not enough. Madara lightly shouted. But in the next second, Mikaze kicked Madara's chest firmly with his foot, and at the same time, he stabbed his kunai towards Madara's eyes. Madara was stunned. Before he knew how Mikaze's kick hit him, he already faced a life-threatening attack. Without hesitation, Madara yelled softly again, Almighty push. In an instant, the powerful repulsion appeared again, and the kunai that was held by Mikaze was knocked into the air again, and landed in the distance. Mikaze landed and covered his chest. The force made him blown away, which was very uncomfortable. Damn it, I almost got him. I didn't expect it to still fail. Mikaze secretly thought in his heart. Madara recalls the strange scene that just happened. I obviously want to dodge Mikaze's kick, but why did it suddenly hit me? It seems to happen in an instant. Is it space ninjutsu? No, I didn't feel any space fluctuation. Madara was puzzled, and looked at Mikaze who was lying down not far away. He then said, it's really an interesting ability. I almost got beaten by that. Is that your Mangekyo Sharingan's ability? Mikaze ignored Madara, and didn't want to answer Madara's question at all. Oh? You don't want to tell me? No matter. When I get your eyes, I can naturally figure out that ability. Then, what kind of moves do you plan to use next? Tsukumo, who was on his way, felt the anxiety in his heart is getting heavier and heavier. His brows couldn't help but frown, and when he looked at the front, he suddenly felt a sense of fear. This is the feeling that has never appeared again since his swordsmanship has reached a very high level. What kind of enemy did Mikaze meet? Tsukumo muttered, and then the chakra burst from his feet, and his flash steps became faster. Similarly, Kakashi, who was rushing to the battlefield, looked in the distance as he felt something. This feeling is a little familiar. Is it him? Kakashi muttered as he has some guesses in his heart. If it is really that person, I am afraid it will become very troublesome. Anyway, I should go and see it myself. After Kakashi finished speaking, the chakra burst from his feet. The father and son made the same choice in this chaotic time. After a fierce battle, Mikaze half kneeled on the ground as he was panting heavily, and his hands are full of blood. Is that all? It's really disappointing. Madara said softly. Mikaze gritted his teeth and felt this powerless feeling for the first time. I used all kinds of moves, but it didn't have any effect on the person in front of me. The so-called almighty push makes Mikaze helpless. No, there is no absolutely invincible ninjutsu. No matter how strong a ninjutsu is, it would still have weaknesses. Mikaze secretly thought in his heart, and then he quickly recalled everything that has just happened. It's time. The use time. This ninjutsu can't be used without stopping, then, all I have to do is to seize this gap. Thinking about this, Mikaze's fighting spirit rekindled. Oh? For you to still have this kind of fighting spirit, it's really worthy of praise. But, in my opinion, this is just a dying struggle. Madara said with a light smile. Even if it is a dying struggle, I will never let you go easily. Mikaze sighed softly, and immediately formed hand seals, earth style, double earth and stone dragon. After Mikaze's hands slammed to the ground, 2 earth dragons instantly formed and rushed from 2 sides towards Madara. With the roar and the 2 earth dragons almost reached Madara. Useless struggle. Stretching out both of his hands, Madara uses almighty push, again, and the earth dragon was blown away. Seeing this, Mikaze was not surprised but rejoiced, and secretly thought, now. Quickly using Shunshin, Mikaze appears in front of Madara. At the same time, the Mangekyo pattern on his right eye keeps spinning, and blood appeared on his right eye. Ondo. With a soft voice, Madara only felt something is strange in front of him before he instantly sank into the illusion. Ganjutsu? Naive, even the Ganjutsu from Mangekyo Sharingan won't have much effect on me. Madara said coldly. But then, an interesting figure appeared in front of Madara. He has black long hair, and handsome face. Big brother, how did you become like this? Hearing the familiar voice, and seeing the familiar figure, Madara's heart was feeling complicated. Izuna. Madara whispered softly, feeling endless nostalgia. Outside the illusion, Mikaze covered his bleeding right eye and muttered, the pupil power consumed by this Ondo is too much, and my vision has become so blurred in an instant. But fortunately, I finally succeeded. Looking at Madara's sluggish face, Mikaze once again drew out a kunai, and slashed towards Madara's neck mercilessly. Chapter 353 The line between life and death. Ondo, Mikaze's Mangekyo Sharingan's unique Ganjutsu. According to the memory of the target, it can show the target the person whom the target misses the most. The person would have all the characteristics of the person from the target's memory and the target would never find the differences. Honestly speaking, this is a Ganjutsu based on the memory of the target. The realness is equivalent to the target's memory. At this moment, Madara faced such a real Izuna. This Izuna has all of the characteristics Madara remembered about Izuna, so this Izuna is almost the same as the original Izuna. It is precisely because of this that Madara was caught in this Ganjutsu for a while. Madara knows that the Izuna in front of him is Ganjutsu, but the real feeling makes it impossible for Madara to break from this Ganjutsu. Izuna's death may be the deepest scar in Madara's heart. It was also Izuna's death that made Madara disgusted with the fate of the Uchiha clan and walked on the path of darkness. The eternal Mangekyo Sharingan requires someone to transplant their close relative's eyes to unlock. What an ironic condition. Therefore, when Madara learned about the infinite Tsukuyomi recorded on the stone tablet, he decided to implement this plan without any slightest hesitation. Because he is tired. Tired of the ugly evolutionary process of the Uchiha clan, but also admiring the beautiful world recorded in the infinite Tsukuyomi. Madara felt that infinite Tsukuyomi is the only way to save the Uchiha clan and this shinobi world. It's just that Madara didn't know that the truth he knew was actually just a conspiracy created by Black Zetsu. Madara's face showed a long-lost cheerful smile, talking with Izuna inside the Ganjutsu. Everything seemed to be just like the past. At this time, Madara seems to have returned his youth. With Izuna, he experienced the growth again. He then also experienced Izuna's death again. Madara felt the powerlessness again, the feeling that he really hate. The Ganjutsu is like a reincarnation, and after the darkness, Izuna appeared again. The experience repeats itself again. Ondo, show the target these familiar stories again and again. However, if the target have gone through 100 reincarnations and haven't woken up yet, they will undoubtedly die. This is the power of Ondo. Mikaze didn't know what happened inside the Ganjutsu. At this time, he has already grasped a kunai and severely slashed it towards Madara's neck. Mikaze didn't know if Ondo could completely defeat Madara, so he felt that it would be the best for him to kill Madara while he was still not awake. With this blow, let me cut the chains of fate. Mikaze let out a low growl and his slash exploded with unprecedented speed. The kunai is getting closer and closer. The cold blade touched Madara's neck, and Mikaze's face was filled with joy. But at this time, a withered right hand tightly grasped Mikaze's right hand that is holding the kunai. Immediately, the hand exerted a slight force, and with a cracking sound, Mikaze feels pain from his right hand, and the kunai fell to the ground. The blankness in Madara's eyes has disappeared at this time, and Mikaze was directly thrown away with a flick of his right hand. After being thrown away to the distance, Mikaze saw that there was a trace of blood at Madara's neck. The kunai only needed to advance for 1 more centimeters to cut his throat and end his life. But unfortunately, it didn't make it in the end. What an interesting Ganjutsu. I should thank you, Mikaze, for giving me chance to relive those good times. As a gift, let me give you the most shocking death. Madara said as a bloodthirsty smile appeared on his face. Seeing this, Mikaze thought, it's bad. In the next second, Madara finished forming hand seals, and he said softly, fire style, dragon flame release song jutsu. 4 flame dragon heads instantly spurted out of Madara's mouth, blasting towards Mikaze from 4 directions respectively. Damn. All of the escape routes have been blocked. Seeing the flame dragon heads are close to him, Mikaze closed his eyes. Oh? Do you want to use the trick? Madara said softly. In the next second, Mikaze suddenly opened his eyes, the weird pattern on his eyes kept spinning, and blood flowed from his eyes instantly. Susanoo. White chakra instantly wraps Mikaze's body, and when someone takes a closer look, they would see that it was the upper body of a skeleton. Susanoo. It is the ultimate technique of Mangekyo Sharingan, the third power that can only be unlocked with a pair of Mangekyo Sharingan, and it is also called the power of God. During the Warring States period, it was known as the horrifying pupil technique that was hard to escape from. Boom. The 4 flame dragon heads bombarded the white Susanoo, but the white Susanoo wasn't scratched at all. What a nostalgic technique. I didn't expect you to be able to use Susanoo. If this is the case, maybe you can make me feel more excited. After Madara finished speaking, blue chakra instantly burst out of his body, and then the almost identical skeleton wrapped Madara's body. Unlike Madara's relaxed condition, Mikaze was panting heavily at this time. The pain in his eyes made Mikaze almost unable to open his eyes, and what was even more terrifying was the tremendous pressure on his body after using the Susanoo. That pain is very hard to describe. Damn, if this goes on, I'll die from pain before Madara Uchiha kills me. Seeing Mikaze didn't move, Madara then said, it seems that you have not adapted to use the Susanoo. Is it painful? Susanoo, known as the power of God, is not so easy to use. Let me teach you carefully how to use the Susanoo. Madara's hands clasped together, and then, the blue skeleton grew flesh and blood, and it also wearing armor, looking like a majestic soldier. Mikaze stared at everything in front of him in a daze. Madara's Susanoo was really too shocking for him. Well, game over. I will take your eyes now. Susanoo pulled out 2 swords and then Madara lightly shouted, Susanoo, 2-sword dance. The blue giant blade slashed towards Mikaze's imperfect Susanoo. Mikaze's pupil shrank as he felt the threat of death. Biting his lip tightly, blood spilled out instantly. His eyes widened, and the output of his pupil power instantly increased. The original white skeleton also grew flesh and blood. However, it is not enough. Madara's Susanoo's sword has already slashed on Mikaze's Susanoo. Kacha! Mikaze's Susanoo was instantly crushed and turned into pieces. The sword didn't stop and pierced into Mikaze's abdomen. The wide long sword almost stabbed Mikaze's entire abdomen. Mikaze's pupils shrank, and his blood rushed out uncontrollably. Arg! Severe pain spread throughout Mikaze's body. Madara released his Susanoo. He then stands on a boulder, and looking at Mikaze coldly. It seems that you can only go this far. Mikaze looked at Madara Uchiha and his eyes were full of unwillingness. Good eyes, unfortunately, this pair of eyes is now mine. Madara said as he slowly approaching Mikaze. He then stretched out his right hand, and wanted to take out Mikaze's eyes. At this moment, Madara suddenly stopped and looked at a place where someone was coming. Secret sword technique, air slasher. The tens of meters long giant sword rose instantly and slashed towards Madara. Madara was taken aback. Although all his attention just now was put on Mikaze, for someone to be able to get so close to him, he knew that this person is not simple. After a momentary pause, Madara jumped away. The sword continues to slash down without any hesitation, making Madara really shocked. Boom. With a loud explosion, a gully more than a meter wide appeared in front of Madara's eyes. The sky was full of smoke and dust. Not good. Madara exclaimed and jumped to the place where Mikaze originally was, but there was nothing there, and the person who attacks him has also disappeared. Damn. How dare he take someone right in front of me? The anger in Madara's heart suddenly rushed up, and his powerful perception was released in an instant. Huh? Not here? How is it possible? Madara was surprised. After all, with his range of perception, there's no way the other party would escape in an instant. Is it space ninjutsu? Madara said softly. Humphrey, so what if it is space ninjutsu? Do you think you can run? The Rinnegan on his eyes instantly faded, revealing the Scarlet Mangekyo Sharingan. Moments later, Madara seemed to have locked into a certain location, and then disappeared from that place. Chapter 354 Entrust inside a cave, Mikaze was covered with blood and his face was pale. There is faint flame inside the cave, giving the dark cave a gleam of light. But the fire is so weak that it can be extinguished at any moment. Kakashi gently leaned Mikaze's body against the cave wall inside. Kakashi did not expect that it would be Madara Uchiha who killed Mikaze. Shouldn't Madara at this time hide in the dark underground? Why did he come out? Looking at Mikaze's weak appearance, Kakashi knew that Mikaze's life was about to come to an end. Susanoo's broadsword almost stabbed through his entire abdomen, so his internal organs had been completely shattered. Even if the future Tsunade came here, she wouldn't be able to heal him. Makaze is already doomed to die. Even if Makaze awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan, his fate still could not be changed. Suddenly, Makaze vomited blood out, and he woke up after being unconscious. It's just like back then. Makaze opened his eyes, and looks at the silver white-haired figure in front of him, and subconsciously called, Sakamo? Kakashi raised a head, met Makaze's eyes, and said, sorry, but it is me. Makaze was taken aback for a moment. Although the person in front of him was somewhat similar to Sakamo, he was younger than Sakamo. It's him. Sure enough, he really came. Is it you, Kakashi? I didn't expect to see you again, just like back then. It seems that you are right. I am destined to die in this year. Makaze said with a sad smile. Hearing this, Kakashi felt a little guilty. If he did a little bit more, he might be able to change Makaze's ending. Sorry, if not. When Kakashi was just speaking, he was interrupted by Makaze. You don't need to apologize, I understand your difficulties. The fate is not so easy to change. I failed, but I hope you can change everything. Madara Uchiha is too terrifying, he now has Rinnegan. Compared to his legend a few decades ago, he has become even more stronger. Makaze coughed a few times as he spoke. Makaze-senpai, your situation is very bad now. Is there anything I can do for you? Kakashi said. Makaze shook his head and said, no, I know my body the best. I know that Madara Uchiha's attack has completely destroyed me. Sakamo is still on the battlefield. He should have won against the Hidden Sand Village. If it's convenient for you, take my body back. I want to be buried in Hidden Leaf Village's land. After all, this is not my home. I will. Kakashi nodded heavily. Looking at the face that was somewhat similar to Obito's face, Kakashi didn't know what to do for a while. Makaze then raised his right hand, and without any slightest hesitation, he dug his own eyes and handed it to Kakashi as if they weren't his eyes at all, but a decoration. Take it. I was unwilling to hand over these eyes 15 years ago, thinking that I could change my fate. But unfortunately, my fate can't be changed at all, and it proved my powerlessness. Although I am a bit unwilling, I can only accept it. I want to entrust this pair of eyes to you, just like Obito entrusted his eye to you in the future. Promise me to use this pair of eyes to save Obito. Don't let him be teased by this ruthless fate. And, I also want to see him again in the future. Looking at the pair of bloody Sharingan in front of him, Kakashi knew that the purpose of his trip has been achieved, but he is not happy at all. Seeing that Kakashi stay silent, Makaze smiled and said, what's wrong? What else is there to hesitate? This is your purpose, isn't it? Makaze-senpai, I don't know if it is right or wrong for me to travel through time. Originally, I just wanted to take your eyes away, but too many accidents happened. Kakashi, there is no retreat for the path you have chosen. Strengthen your beliefs, go forward and save the people you want to save. Hesitation will only make the sword in your hand dull. Remember, it is impossible to do great things without sacrifice. As long as the sacrifices are not in vain, then all this is worth it. Looking at Makaze with a smile on his face, Kakashi took the pair of Sharingan, and put the Sharingan into a bottle of liquid that he takes from who knows where. Makaze-senpai, I'm sorry. Kakashi whispered. Haha, it's okay, it's just a pair of eyes. I should thank you for it. If it weren't for you, I am afraid I don't even have a chance to see Obito again. Kakashi, please save Obito. Makaze's voice was filled with relief, and there was also some expectation in it. Kakashi then solemnly said, Makaze-senpai, I promise you, I will definitely pull Obito out of the darkness. So he can get back to the light of the world. Upon hearing this, Makaze smiled again, but the color on his face was gone, and his time limit has reached the end. Good. I believe in you. After all, you are Sakamo's son. Makaze said the last sentence intermittently, and then he breathed his last breath. In the next moment, Makaze's breath has completely disappeared. But, there is a smile remained at the corner of Makaze's mouth. Seeing Makaze, who has already become a corpse in front of him, Kakashi's mood became extremely heavy. Kakashi told Makaze about his fate. He tried to change it, but unfortunately, he failed in the end. What about mine? Can I change it? Or will I still be powerless to change it? Kakashi didn't know, but all he could do is just try his best to change it. Just like he did before. Suddenly it rained outside, just like how the land of rain normally. No one cares, because this is a trivial thing that couldn't be more common in the land of rain. After all, this country is called the land of rain. However, Sakamo, who was running as fast as he can inside the forest, stopped abruptly. Standing on the branch of a big tree, he became motionless. Standing in the rain, Sakamo didn't know why, but sorrow suddenly filled his heart. The rain fell on Sakamo's hair, dripping down to the tips of his hair. The rain flowed through his eyes and fell from the corners of his eyes. "Mikase. Are you?" Sycamore muttered softly. The silent figure didn't move. It seemed as if the person who was desperately running before was not him. Sycamore seemed to feel someone tapping his shoulder lightly, saying goodbye to him. "Mikase, is this the fate you were talking about?" Sycamore muttered to himself and looked up at the sky. "Is this the choice you choose?" And in the sky, Mikase's smiling face seemed to appear. He seemed to be talking softly. "Sycamore, I'm sorry, but it seems that I have to go first." The rain became even more stronger, and Sycamore's face was full of falling raindrop. Chapter 355 Meeting Madara Uchiha. The rain was still falling, and Kakashi sent Mikase's body to Hidden Leaf Village's base camp undetected. When the Hidden Leaf Village shinobi who stayed behind discovered the corpse, an uproar happened. No one knows who sent the corpse to their location, but everyone knows that this person is Uchiha Mikase. It was Uchiha Mikase who went to the rear of Hidden Sand Village in the morning to perform a mission. When Sycamore came back, he naturally also saw this corpse. Looking at Mikase's body that has lost his eyes, Sycamore seemed to understand something. A battle report was sent out from Hidden Leaf Village's base camp. After Lord Third Hokage received the information, he was shocked. Originally, he wanted Jiraiya and other two to leave later, but now it seems that they must go there as soon as possible. Otherwise, the situation would be dangerous. So the three set out on their journey to the Land of Rain. The war continues. After Kakashi sent Mikase's body back to Hidden Leaf Village's base camp, he planned to go to the Dragon Veins to return to his own timeline. After obtaining Mikase's eyes, he didn't have any more reason to stay in this time. Kakashi then uses Hiroshin no Jutsu, Flying Thunder God Jutsu, to go to the Dragon Veins, but it unexpectedly failed. What happened? Kakashi was shocked. After all, this is the first time he failed to use the Hiroshin no Jutsu, Flying Thunder God Jutsu, after he mastering it. Are you surprised? It seems that I was right. You really are using space ninjutsu. An indifferent voice came from the front, and Kakashi was taken aback as he saw the figure. Pale hair, wrinkled face, and those unique pair of Rinnegan. Madara Uchiha. Why is he here? Kakashi's complexion turned serious. After all, this is the person he doesn't want to meet the most since he has traveled to this time. Although Madara was old at this time, the horrifying power brought by the pair of Rinnegan was not to be underestimated. Even with a pair of Mangekyo Sharingan, Mikase still defeated easily, which shows its power. When Madara saw Kakashi's face clearly, it was like seeing something that shouldn't be seen, and his expression was indescribable. You? How could it be you? Madara was horrified. This face, this feeling, there is absolutely no mistake, this person is his and Hashirama's former teacher. Jintaki-sensei? Kakashi suppressed his emotions and said with a chuckle, Madara, long time no see. It's really you. Jintaki-sensei. How could it be? You're still alive? How could you still look like that? Madara was shocked. Madara, this is just a little trick, Kakashi said softly. Madara gradually calmed down. There are tens of thousands of ninjutsu in this world. So if there are one or two types that can keep youth forever, it doesn't seem surprising. I should have thought of it long ago. Except for that guy, Senju Tobirama, only Jintaki-sensei can use space ninjutsu. Madara, after not meeting for so many years, it seems that you are heading towards the wrong path, Kakashi said. Wrong? Jintaki-sensei, the dream we said at that time was wrong from the very beginning. Like Hashirama, are you still insisting on such a ridiculous dream? I have finally understood the truth of this world. I'm the only one who can bring this world to true peace. Madara said fanatically. Madara, you are too confident. Kakashi muttered. Too confident? Jintaki-sensei, have you seen it? This pair of eyes, having these eyes means that I am correct. Madara pointed to his Rinnegan, as if showing off his achievements. Is that why you transplanted Hashirama cells on yourself? Madara was taken aback. Apparently he didn't expect Kakashi to even know such things. Jintaki-sensei, it seems that although you haven't shown yourself in the shinobi world all these years, you still know everything about me and Hashirama. Who are you? Madara said as he stared at Kakashi coldly. Madara, you really are different from before. Kakashi did not answer, but sighed. I was only 10 years old that year. People will always grow up, and those naive dreams will also be abandoned. People always have to face reality. Jintaki-sensei, if you still think that I will be the same, I am sorry, but it won't be possible after all those years of growth. Perhaps I just feel a little sad after seeing you like this. Once you were an energetic and hot-blooded teenager, but now you are hiding in the shadow of the sun, causing chaos to the shinobi world. Is it really good to be alone? A trace of loneliness flashed in Madara's eyes, but he quickly suppressed it. He is the messiah of the shinobi world. This kind of emotion shouldn't appear in him. Ha ha ha. Jintaki-sensei, you are still saying such naive things to me now. Sure enough, you are as innocent as that Hashirama. I will bring new life to this world. For this, I will make any sacrifices. Kakashi shook his head. At this moment, Madara believed in what was said on the stone tablet and won't hear what Kakashi said. Kakashi wanted to tell Madara the truth, but he couldn't. If he told Madara about the truth, everything will move towards an unpredictable direction, and the trajectories of the future generations may change as a result. This is a bet Kakashi can't afford to do. What's more, even if he told Madara, Black Zetsu is still out there, and all tragedies will just repeat themselves. If Black Zetsu is not defeated, then everything will be in vain. While Kakashi was thinking about this, Madara said to him, Jintaki-sensei, please hand over Uchiha Mikaze's eyes. Although I don't know what you want to do with those eyes, but that pair of eyes is still useful for me, so I can't let you have it. Please, sensei, don't hinder my plan. Kakashi tensed, and stared at Madara without showing any weakness. He then said, if I say no, Madara clenched his fist and said, Jintaki-sensei, although it is our reunion after a long time, but if you try to hinder my plan, I will not be merciful. With that said, it seems that this battle is inevitable, Kakashi sighed. It seems that you have chosen the most undesirable path, Jintaki-sensei. If that is so, then let me see your real strength, Jintaki-sensei. How strong are you, who once made me look forward to so much? Madara said with excited expression on his face. Kakashi glanced around, observing the strangeness around him. Kakashi knew that Hiraishin no Jutsu, Flying Thunder God Jutsu, won't fail for no reason, so there must be a reason for the failure, maybe some kind of space seal. If he wants to leave this place, he has to break this seal. Otherwise, Kakashi doesn't have much confidence to escape when facing against Madara. After discovering Kakashi's little action, Madara smiled and said, Jintaki-sensei, don't bother, the space in this place has been locked by me. Your space ninjutsu can't be used anymore. Back then, in order to deal with Senjudobi Rama's Hiraishin no Jutsu, Flying Thunder God Jutsu, I have done a lot of research to completely lock the space. Hearing this, Kakashi's pupil shrank. He did not expect that Madara would actually have the ability to lock the space. Madara continued to talk to himself. At that time, the reason why Senjudobi Rama was killed by the Kinkaku force was because I locked the space there. At that time, I just finished researching this ninjutsu. But I didn't expect it to be successful on the first try. It is really funny that Senjudobi Rama didn't know why he couldn't use the Hiraishin no Jutsu, Flying Thunder God Jutsu, when he died. As the murderer who killed Izuha, Madara's hatred for Senjudobi Rama is definitely not small. It's just that Senjudobi Rama has Hiraishin no Jutsu, Flying Thunder God Jutsu, so Madara didn't have the confidence to kill him. After all, Senjudobi Rama is not weak, and with Hiraishin no Jutsu, Flying Thunder God Jutsu, he will have a lot of opportunity to escape. Therefore, Madara developed a ninjutsu that can lock the space. Madara didn't expect the second time he used it, it would be against Kakashi. Chapter 356 Kakashi vs Madara. Hearing this, Kakashi finally understands why Hiraishin no Jutsu, Flying Thunder God Jutsu, suddenly fails. No wonder the Lord Second Hokage will die in the Kinkaku force's hands. It was originally a very strange thing that the Lord Second Hokage who can use Hiraishin no Jutsu, Flying Thunder God Jutsu, to be killed by Kinkaku force. Kakashi didn't hesitate anymore, and the Millennium Sword instantly appeared as he stretched his right hand. Sword? I never have the opportunity to see Jintaki-sensei's swordsmanship. It's an honor to be able to see it today. As Madara said that, he also took out his weapon. The gunbai, also known as the gunbai Akaiwa, is said to have been made from the branches of the god tree, and is the treasure of the Uchiha clan from generation to generation. Kakashi held his sword in one hand, and Madara is also holding the gunbai in his hand, and the atmosphere turned solemn. Madara is a little excited. As his former teacher, Madara has an inexplicable admiration for Kakashi. Back then, he wanted to look for Kakashi, but he didn't have any information about him even after he traveled through the whole shinobi world. He did not expect to meet Kakashi again in his old age. Kakashi's expression turned serious. At this time, although Madara is old, he has Hashirama cells and the Rinnegan. Even if he is not as strong as during his fight against Hashirama, he is still almost as strong. Facing against such Madara, Kakashi did not dare to say that he has any chance of winning. Kakashi knows that Madara right now is perhaps the most terrifying opponent he has ever encountered. So, Jintaki-sensei, the fight between us has finally begun. I wonder how strong you actually are. Madara chuckled lightly, and rushed over while holding the gunbai. With a wave of gunbai, he strikes towards Kakashi. Kakashi blocked the strike with his sword. Ding! The gunbai and the Millennium Sword collided for the first time. Kakashi and Madara looked at each other with unspeakable emotions in their eyes. With different ideas, the pair of teacher and student who got along for a short time now fights against each other. Jintaki-sensei, let me see your strength. Madara, have you forgotten our dream? Kakashi muttered. Jintaki-sensei, I have already said that it is just a child's dream. And we, people are going to grow up. Madara said, and with a vigorous wave of his right hand, the gunbai fanned and released powerful gusts of wind, blowing towards Kakashi. He also finished forming hand seals and said, fire style, great fire whirlwind. A huge whirlwind of flames rushed towards Kakashi. Kakashi's eyes are narrowed, and the Millennium Sword in his hand instantly condenses a powerful lightning power. Hotake Clan Sword Technique, Moon Wave. The blue lightning crescent wave come out of the sword and slashed towards the whirlwind of flames. Swash! The huge whirlwind of flame was instantly split by the blue lightning crescent wave, and its remaining power remained undiminished as it flew towards Madara. This sword technique. Madara is a little surprised. This sword technique makes him has a feeling of déjà vu. Although puzzled, Madara's movements didn't stop in the slightest. He grabbed the gunbai with his right hand, running chakra to it, and waved it gently as it hit the blue crescent wave. Uchi-Hagshi. Uchiha return. With a soft sound, the blue crescent wave seemed to have been absorbed by the gunbai, and then come out from the gunbai and moves back towards Kakashi. Seeing the flying blue crescent wave, Kakashi was taken aback for a moment, and then ducked to dodge the attack. This is Hotake Clan Sword Technique? At first, the Hotake Clan said that their sword technique was taught by a mysterious person. Now it seems that this person is you, Jintaki-sensei. Interesting. Why are you helping the Hotake Clan back then, Jintaki-sensei? Madara asked intrigued. Kakashi answered calmly, it's just a whim. Whim? Interesting. Jintaki-sensei still does things so casually. Was it also a whim when you accepted to teach me and Hashirama back then? Asked Madara. Indeed, originally, I didn't intend to teach anyone, but Hashirama's sincerity made me unable to refuse. Kakashi muttered. Yeah, Hashirama was really silly at that time. I also had no doubt about you, Jintaki-sensei. You were just a stranger passing by. Madara sighed, seeming to recall that period of time. As his emotion gets back to normal, Madara turned his attention to Kakashi again and said, Jintaki-sensei, use your full power. Otherwise, you can't beat me like this. And I won't be merciful anymore. As Madara said that, the aura on his body suddenly erupted, like an erupting volcano, which seemed extremely terrifying. Kakashi's expression becoming even more serious than before. Indeed, in the face of such an enemy, little tricks become somewhat useless. Clapping his hands together, a surging natural energy emerges instantly from Kakashi's body. Sage Mode. Red eyeshadow appeared on Kakashi's face, and in an instant, his aura multiplied by several times. Sage Mode? The same Sage Mode as Hashirama? It turns out that Hashirama's Sage Mode was learned from Jintaki-sensei, ha ha ha. Madara chuckled, but a resentment surged in his heart. Why did he teach Hashirama but didn't teach me? Kakashi once again held the Millennium Sword and said, I didn't teach Hashirama about Sage Mode. Hashirama and I learned it from Shikatsu Forest. So it's like that. After Madara heard this, the injustice in his heart eased slightly. Hashirama was able to exert great power when using the Sage Mode. But, I don't know how strong you are, Jintaki-sensei, when you are using that. Try it, and then you'll know. I think so too. Madara attacked again with his gunbai with a surprisingly fast speed. Kakashi is not panicking. After using Sage Mode, the attack's trajectory is clearly reflected in Kakashi's perception. The Millennium Sword moved calmly, turning the gunbai's offensive useless. Ding ding ding. The Millennium Sword and the gunbai collided no less than 100 times in an instant. Madara's tiptoe landed on a tree. As expected of you, Jintaki-sensei, your taijutsu and swordsmanship are so exquisite. Madara admired. Although Madara praised him, Kakashi is not happy at all. Then, let's have a good time, sensei. After Madara finished speaking, he stretched his right hand towards Kakashi, and said softly, Universal Pull, powerful suction force erupts from Madara's right palm, and Kakashi felt that he was about to be pulled towards Madara's direction. Not good. Kakashi thought secretly. He then have his chakra clung to the ground to keep his body from being sucked away, and his hands quickly formed hand seals. Fire style, great fireball jutsu, a fireball appeared and was instantly absorbed by the suction force. The fireball flew towards Madara at a very fast speed. Madara was startled. Seeing the fireball close at hand, he quickly dissipated the suction force. Blocking technique absorption seal, the fireball was sucked by Madara's hands. At this moment, Kakashi's figure instantly appeared behind Madara. Seeing Madara's surprised eyes, Kakashi yelled softly, "Thunder Dance!" Chapter 357 Tengai Shinsei. The power of the terrifying lightning formed the image of a thunder dragon. At this time, the Millennium Sword turned into a thunder dragon and rushed towards Madara. Under the addition from Senjutsu, the originally terrifying thunder dance becomes even more amazing at this time. Madara's pupils shrank, and he stretched out his hands without hesitation. Almighty Push, a terrifying repulsion force was formed instantly, directly smashing the thunder dragon. At this moment, Kakashi and the thunder dragon turned into a cloud of smoke with a bang. Shadow clone? Madara was startled. He didn't realize that he is attacking a shadow clone. At this moment, a terrifying thunder dragon appeared in front of Madara again. It was Kakashi who manipulated this thunder dragon with cold expression. The thunder dragon looks extremely imposing. The pressure is so great that Madara has no way to hide. Madara never expected that Kakashi would find the flaw in this moment. Dragon Dance. Kakashi shouted in a low shout, slashing the thunder dragon on the Millennium Sword directly towards Madara. Dragon Dance. The enhanced version of the thunder dance which eliminates unnecessary steps and make him can condense the terrifying dragon's secret sword technique in an instant. The Millennium Sword got closer and closer to Madara. If this strike hits, even someone like Madara will end up with a serious injury. At the moment when the Millennium Sword was about to cut Madara's body, strange blue chakra instantly wraps the Madara's body, first the skeleton, and then flesh and blood armor. Seeing this, Kakashi's pupils shrank, so fast. Susanoo. Along with Madara's low voice, the armored upper body Susanoo appeared in front of Kakashi's eyes. Boom. With a loud noise, the Millennium Sword which carried the Thunder Dragon continued to slash towards the Susanoo. Susanoo that is protecting Madara was directly hit by the Thunder Dragon. Kakashi lightly landed on the ground, but Susanoo flew a distance of tens of meters before it could stop. Kakashi sighed secretly. He didn't expect that the blow just now didn't cause any serious injuries. It was clear that he has calculated the time of Almighty Push, but he didn't expect that Madara would be able to create Susanoo so fast. After the smoke dissipated, Madara and his Susanoo appeared again. What a great combo. First, you used fire release so that I had to give up using universal pull, and forcing me to use the use jutsu absorption. Then, you used such terrifying sword technique, but it was actually just shadow clone to make me use Almighty Push, and then, you finally found the gap and used a very fast secret sword technique. If I didn't use Susanoo in time, I am afraid I would be seriously injured. Madara said softly. His words are full of admiration, and then he looked at Kakashi. So, Jindaki-sensei, how did you know about my Rinnegan's ability? For you to make such a precise judgment in such a moment, if you don't know my ability in advance, there is no way you can do it. Madara said as his face has become a lot more serious. After he awakened the Rinnegan, no one in this world except him should know about the ability of this pair of eyes. But all Kakashi's attacks just now seem to know all of the Rinnegan's ability. This is really unimaginable to Madara. Kakashi then muttered, you are not the only one who is interested in the legend of the Sage of Six Paths, Madara. Did Jindaki-sensei learn about the Rinnegan's ability somewhere? Madara was puzzled. Kakashi clenched the Millennium Sword tightly and did not answer Madara. Faced with such a situation, Kakashi wouldn't tell anything to Madara. Otherwise, it would cause problems. No matter how high Madara's intelligence is, he would never think that there is still such a thing as transmigrating in this world. Interesting, I don't know to what extent your intelligence is, Jindaki-sensei. The corner of Madara's mouth began to curl upward, as if he has found a very interesting prey. Madara then formed hand seals and said, wood style, nativity of a sea of trees. Madara's chakra bursted out and poured into the ground, and then huge trees continued to rise from the ground from all around. In an instant, that place seemed to have become a huge forest. Kakashi was surprised, looking at the trees in all directions, his heart felt extremely heavy. Unlike wood release that he encountered in the Chunin exam before, the power of this wood release is even more terrifying. Just from the pressure, he can feel the huge difference from back then. Now, this is my territory. Jindaki-sensei, what are you going to do? Madara smiled and his hand moved. In an instant, tree branches from all directions rushed towards Kakashi. It's really troublesome. Kakashi used his hands and feet together, avoiding the rushing branches. A branch flew over towards Kakashi. The Millennium Sword waved and cut the branch in half. Kakashi furrowed his brows and secretly thought, that branch is strong. Kakashi clenched the Millennium Sword tightly, and poured even more chakra into it. More and more tree branches are flying, and the Millennium Sword is moving faster and faster. Boom. After cutting a tree branch again, Kakashi felt soreness in his right arm after he slashed his sword continuously. Even if Sage Mode was able to remove some fatigue, it could not make Kakashi recover in a short time. At this moment, dozens of tree branches rushing towards him again. Kakashi was feeling helpless, and then, blue lightning suddenly appeared on his body. Lightning release armor. The powerful lightning instantly covered Kakashi's body, and his silver-white hair stood upright. The tree branches that hit Kakashi were instantly torn to pieces. Oh? Is that Raikage's lightning release armor? It's amazing that you could also use it, Jintaki-sensei. Using Sage Mode and lightning release armor at the same time, Kakashi felt that the chakra in his body was rapidly consumed. According to this speed, I'm afraid that in less than 10 minutes, my chakra will be exhausted. No, I can't go on like this anymore. Madara's chakra reserve is much more than mine. I am afraid that my chakra will not last long if I didn't do something. Kakashi thought secretly, and then began to figure out what to do next. Jintaki-sensei, you have brought me more and more surprises. It is getting more and more interesting, so let me add the fun. Will you be able to resist this next move? Let's find out. As Madara finished speaking, his hands quickly formed hand seals, and then he shouted in a low voice. Tengai-sensei. Smile formed on Madara's face as he felt that the release of this ninjutsu. Kakashi was taken aback, and saw that the sky turned dark in an instant. Immediately after, a huge meteorite is falling from the sky. Kakashi was dumbfounded and muttered, This is... Jintaki-sensei, feel this boundless fear, this kind of terrifying power that is comparable to God's. Madara chuckled as the meteorite continues to fall. The terrifying meteorite with a diameter of more than 100 meters fell straight towards Kakashi's location. Chapter 358 Sage Art, Star Crusher. The terrifying meteorite covers the sky. The meteorite continues to drop to the ground. The wind pressure from the meteorite dropping makes Kakashi a little breathless. I can't escape. That terrifying size, coupled with the speed of the fall and the wind pressure, even Kakashi with his outstanding speed could not escape it. If he can still use Hiraishin no Jutsu at this time, it is a breeze for Kakashi to escape. But unfortunately, the space here has been blocked by Madara. Madara's eyes ability, coupled with his pre-prepared technique, makes Hiraishin no Jutsu useless. The original inventor the Hiraishin no Jutsu, Lord Second Hokage, could not crack it, not to mention Kakashi whose Hiraishin no Jutsu's mastery hasn't reached the peak. Tengai-sensei. The horrible ninjutsu that cannot be avoided. There is only one way to resist. In the original work, the Lord Third Tsuchikage used, Earth-style, ultra-lightweight rock jutsu, to stop the meteorite, but he was later severely injured by the second meteorite. Even Lord Third Tsuchikage who is proficient in Earth release has tried his best to stop it but still can't do it. So, what should Kakashi do? He doesn't know how to use ultra-lightweight rock technique. Kakashi's expression turned serious. In that case, I can only crush it directly. However, catching the meteorite and breaking the meteorite are two completely different concepts. On the sky, Madara looked at Kakashi who was on the ground coldly. Jintaki-sensei, against such attack, what kind of counterattack can you make? The fight has just begun, don't let me down. Madara muttered softly, except for himself, no one else can hear it. Even with Senjutsu and lightning release armor, Kakashi still has no confidence facing against the meteorite. Should I use Kamui? No, with only one Sharingan for Kamui, plus my chakra, Kamui can't make it disappeared at all. What's more, the space here is also blocked by Madara. So I am afraid that I also can't use Kamui. It will also expose the existence of my Sharingan. In that case, I can only try desperately. After forming hand seals, powerful lightning attribute chakra is condensed in Kakashi's hands. Mercury. Blue lightning condensed on Kakashi's palm, and the sound of the terrifying lightning sounded. Senjutsu chakra merged into it, and the originally blue lightning turned into pitch black in an instant. At this time, Kakashi had no time to pay attention to the bizarre change. He only knew that the terrifying meteorite was already in front of his eyes. After he keeps pouring the Senjutsu chakra, the lightning's color is as black as ink. Kakashi leaped, with the black lightning in his right hand, he rushed towards the meteorite. Black lightning? Is it storm release? No, it doesn't have water attribute, it is just a simple lightning attribute chakra change. I have never seen such lightning release. Is it because of combining Senjutsu chakra? Madara muttered as he looked at all of this with a faint expectation in his eyes. Kakashi's eyes were fixed on the meteorite that obscured the sky, and the black lightning in his right hand had been blasting to the extreme. Almost all of the Shikatsu Forest's Senjutsu chakra in the cursed seal is infused on his attack. Sage Art, Lightning Blade. Kakashi let out a low cry, and Rakiri, which contains Senjutsu chakra and lightning attribute chakra, slammed into the meteorite that was about to fall. Boom. There was a loud noise, and the black lightning has finally hit the meteorite. The two, which were completely disproportionate in size, collided. For a while, the scene unexpectedly stagnated strangely. Arg! Kakashi screamed as he increased the chakra output into his right hand. Tear. The clothes on Kakashi's right arm burst directly. No, it's not enough. If this goes on, not to mention my arms, but my whole body will be buried under this meteorite. The thought in his mind flashed. Kakashi looked at the darkwork, and finally made a decision. Fight. Kakashi closes both of his eyes and mobilizes the other two cursed seal on his back. One silver, one purple. Senjutsu chakra from Mount Mayabaku and Ruchi Cave poured into the black lightning on Kakashi's right hand at this moment. For a time, the three different Senjutsu chakra sent a powerful repulsive force. Kakashi's right hand instantly oozes the blood. Be quiet. Balance. Kakashi shouted in a low voice. No one knows if he is talking to three great holy lands Senjutsu chakra, or still talking to himself. All of his spiritual force burst out and slowly balancing the ratio of three great holy lands Senjutsu. The original violent repulsive power reached a weird balance point in an instant. No one knew if it's a coincidence or not, but at this time, three great holy lands Senjutsu chakra actually showed signs of combining together. And at this moment, there was a little purple color on the pitch black Rakiri, and there is also a little silvery white color. Sage Art, Star Crusher. The stagnant scene was broken in an instant, and the originally seemingly hard meteorite, at this moment, seemed to become a piece of paper. Tear. The lightning in Kakashi's hand is like a giant blade, directly cutting the meteorite. Numerous rebels passed by Kakashi. Kakashi's figure is like a bolt of lightning, splitting the entire meteorite in two. Boom. This meteorite with a diameter of more than 100 meters and was summoned by Madara, is cut in half by Kakashi in this style. The meteorite split into two and fell on the ground. The ground was shaking, as if it is an earthquake. The black lightning in Kakashi's hand disappeared, and traces of blood dripped from Kakashi's palm. Kakashi was panting as he half-kneeled on the ground. The red eyeshadow has disappeared from his face, and the lightning release armor was also disappeared at the same time. At this time, Kakashi is like an arrow at the end of its flight. Clap clap clap. A burst of clear applause sounded, and Madara landed 5 meters in front of Kakashi. Looking at the injured Kakashi, Madara said, "What a great lightning release ninjutsu. It can actually cut Tengai Shinsei directly into 2 halves. Even I won't be able to do it easily. Jintaki-sensei, your strength is really not simple. You really deserve to be the teacher of me and Hashirama." Kakashi looked up at Madara's old face as he is panting heavily. "Jintaki-sensei, seeing your appearance, it seems that you have reached your limit. Unfortunately, this fight seems to be over. Then, hand over Magaze's Sharingan." Kakashi stood up slowly and adjusted his breathing. And then he said, "This pair of Sharingan is being entrusted from Magaze to me. I will never hand it over." "Oh? It seems that Jintaki-sensei still can't understand my philosophy. It's a shame you still wants to be against me." Madara's face was full of regret, and then a black rod appeared in his hand and he threw it towards Kakashi. Chapter 359 7th Gate, Open. The black rod is the product of the yin release. It has the ability to transmit chakra, and once it is inserted into a human body, it can interfere with the operation of the chakra in the body. If the user controls it, he can even manipulate another person's actions. Kakashi knew this black rod very well and naturally he wouldn't want to be hit by it. He knows that Madara wants to use this thing to deal with him. And in all likelihood, he wanted to control Kakashi to hand over Magaze's Sharingan. Madara is too strong. After fighting against him, Kakashi finally realized the despair of the 5 Kage on the original work. The kind of despair they felt after they can do nothing against absolute power. Without corresponding eyes, even with the fusion of 3 great holy land senjutsu, I am afraid that I won't be able to beat Madara in his prime. Therefore, this pair of eyes is really necessary for him. The speed of the black rod is very fast. Kakashi released some chakra from his body to summons the Millennium Sword. He gently waves it, and deflects the black rod away. "You still got some strength. It seems that I have looked down on you," Madara said as 2 black rods appeared again in both of his hands, and then, he rushed towards Kakashi. Senjutsu Chakra's powerful recovery ability made Kakashi's somewhat exhausted body to regain its vitality for a little bit. Although Kakashi swayed from side to side while standing, he can still block the black rods. Only the clashing sound was heard as the Millennium Sword kept colliding with the black rods. Kakashi sorted out his chakra while resisting Madara's attack. After his last attack, there is only 1/3 of Senjutsu chakra left in the 3 cursed seals. Although the attack was powerful, it wasted too much extra Senjutsu chakra. Kakashi can feel that there has been a glimmer of the 3 Great Holy Lands Senjutsu chakra merging when under his control. He also has already remembered this feeling. So, if he can fully grasp this feeling, he can finally fuse the 3 Great Holy Lands Senjutsu chakra completely. It's just that these are things for later. For now, it's important for him to get through the difficulties in front of him first. Madara's eyes narrowed suddenly, and then he kicked Kakashi in the chest. Kakashi couldn't react, and he was hit in the center firmly, and then Kakashi's body flew out directly, breaking 3 big trees before stopping. "Jintaki-sensei, you shouldn't be distracted at this time," Madara coldly said. Kakashi got up, vomiting a mouthful of blood. There is blood on the corner of his mouth. Kakashi then gently wiped it off by hand, and coldly looked at Madara, who was not far away. "Nice look, but it's a pity, Jintaki-sensei, you are too weak." As Madara said that, there were bursts of cold glow in the Rinnegan, and the murderous intent directly rushed towards Kakashi. "Goodbye, Jintaki-sensei, please say hello to Hashirama over there for me." As Madara said that, with the black rods in his hands, he dashed towards Kakashi. When Kakashi saw this, he quickly formed hand seals, lightning style, lightning beast striking fang. A hound then appeared from Kakashi's hands. Its body suddenly became bigger, and it opened his jaw as he rushed towards Madara. Useless struggle. Madara stretched out his right hand and chuckled softly, blocking technique absorption seal. The lightning hound was directly grasped by Madara with one hand, and then it disappeared into nothingness. Kakashi's attack was instantly stopped. Seeing the black rods are closing towards him, Kakashi used flash steps to back away. "You can't escape," Madara said, as his body turned and moved towards Kakashi again. Madara's Shunshin is faster than Kakashi's flash steps. This is not the way to go. If I use normal ninjutsu, Madara will absorb it directly. He can't absorb it if I poured Senjutsu chakra, but there are not much of Senjutsu chakra in the cursed seals. If I can't win with a single blow, I am afraid it will become very troublesome. After Kakashi thought about this, trace of determination appeared in his eyes. I can only try this method. If it doesn't work, I'm afraid I will really have to die here today. Having said this, Kakashi suddenly assumed a strange stance. Seeing this, Madara was surprised and stopped. It seems that Jintaki-sensei still has some tricks. I really look forward to it. Do you have any tricks to turn your defeat into victory? Kakashi stared at Madara, and finally muttered, "6th gate, open." 8 gates. The taijutsu forbidden technique that Kakashi learned from Guy when he just transmigrated here. After 14 years of practice, Kakashi has reached a very high level in the 8 gates. There is not much chakra left on his body at this time, so it is indeed appropriate for Kakashi to use this technique. Kakashi's strength when using the 8 gates is not stronger than using Sage mode, but it has an advantage, that is, he can use powerful attack without using chakra. Madara was startled and muttered, 8 gates? It is really rare for someone to use this technique. It is surprising me that Jintaki-sensei would actually have such an accomplishment in taijutsu. So, Jintaki-sensei, how much gate you can open? No one knew who had created the 8 gates. The general statement says that it is created by the Lord Second Hokage or Might Dewey. But, Lord Second Hokage has never used this forbidden technique in the original work, so it's hard to say that this technique was created by the Lord Second Hokage. Then, there is Might Dewey. It took 20 years for him to master the 8 gates, but he did not say that he created it himself. Let's not talk about how much physical power the 8 gates needs, just the chakra pathway system and the 8 specific tenketsu involved in the 8 gates required medical knowledge. So, it should be possible that medical shinobi is the one who created it. For eternal Genin to not only have this medical knowledge, but also to be able to create such forbidden taijutsu technique, it is really unbelievable. After all, no matter what kind of ninjutsu created, the creator needs a wealth of theoretical knowledge. Only with this someone can create ninjutsu. For Naruto, who doesn't have enough theoretical knowledge to create Rasen Shuriken, it is because Kakashi told Naruto the theory, and he only needs to master the skills after knowing the theory. The knowledge of the human body involved in the 8 gates, which opens the limits of the human body, is so complicated that an eternal Genin would definitely not know. Therefore, Might Dewey should not be the founder of the 8 gates. Regardless, Madara was only slightly surprised when he looked at the 8 gates used by Kakashi at this time. For Madara, the 6th gate is not worthy of attention. Kakashi knew this too, so without any hesitation, a force in his body directly broke through the 7th gate. 7th gate, open. Blue steam was released from Kakashi's body. Oh? The seventh gate? Amazing. It's the first time I have fight against the seventh gate. Let me see what kind of power it has. Madara said expectantly. Kakashi felt severe pain all over his body at this time, as if his bones were about to shatter. The side effects are really terrifying. My body tempered with the 8 gates and lightning release armor actually almost can't bear it. I just barely opened the 7th gate but the side effects are this much. There is not much time. I have to finish this as soon as possible. Kakashi secretly thought in his heart, and then his feet move. In an instant, with a burst of wind, Kakashi hit Madara with a punch. So fast. Madara said. Immediately, Kakashi's fist slammed directly at Madara. Madara reacted immediately, and the black rods instantly move in front of him, blocking the terrifying punch. Ding. When the fist and the black rod collided, there was a sound of steel clashing. Chapter 360 Death. After opening the 7th gate, Kakashi's speed was once again improved, and the sound of the bombardment was heard. Boom. With another crisp sound, Kakashi's punch actually breaks the black rod in Madara's hand into two. Madara was startled, and in the next moment, Kakashi's fist hit Madara's face. Bang. Madara's body flew out several tens of meters in an instant. Kakashi gasped slightly, forcibly suppressing the pain in his body, and murmured, "There is not much time left." Madara landed on the ground and formed a deep pit. Bruises appeared on his wrinkled face, and blood leaked from the corners of his mouth. What an amazing taijutsu technique. It can actually hurt me this much. Madara said as he wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. With an excited smile on his face, he looked at Kakashi. "Jintaki-sensei, you really brought me a lot of surprises," Madara said with a light smile. Kakashi didn't say anything, and formed a unique hand seal with both of his hands, and rushed towards Madara. Huh? Is it another technique? Madara's expression was slightly solemn and Kakashi's speed also became even faster than before. Blue steam continued to rise from his body, and the pain in his body seemed to disappear in an instant. But Kakashi knows that this won't happen for long, and after some time has passed, the after effects of using this technique will assault his body. It is precisely because of the terrifying after effects of the 8 gates that Kakashi rarely uses it after learning it. After all, he still has lightning release armor, sage mode and other skills that are not weaker than the 8 gates. So, it is meaningless to use this kind of self-hurting skill. But this time, it is different. Against Madara who can absorb ninjutsu and chakra, the 8 gates can have a good result. Back then, the reason why Kakashi learned the 8 gates is not only to enhance his physique, but also to deal with the existence that can absorb ninjutsu and chakra. And this time, it was the moment that Kakashi had already anticipated. 8 gates come in handy at this moment. Come on. Jintaki-sensei. Let me see what other powerful moves you have. Madara exclaimed excitedly. As you wish. Kakashi let out a low growl as he places a palm facing forward in front of his face with one hand and then taps it with his other hand to form into a fist. Hyrutora. Daytime tiger, and then, the blue steam surged, and a white tiger appeared instantly from Kakashi's hands. Madara was surprised. What a huge chakra condensed. No, that's not right, that is not a chakra, that white tiger is actually compressed air. Madara was shocked. He had never seen such a large-scale attack without using chakra. Kakashi then attacked Madara. Roar. The white tiger roared and then rushed towards Madara. The powerful wind pressure blows Madara's hair and clothes around, and the terrifying power makes Madara more and more excited. This is the feeling I'm waiting for. It's amazing. Come. Ha ha ha. Madara laughed, and then the blue armor enveloped his whole body, and Suzunu's complete form appeared again. The white tiger opened its mouth as it moved towards Suzunu and wanted to bite it. Suzunu took out the 2 swords around his waist and slashed towards the white tiger. Roar. An angry roar. The white tiger's sharp giant fangs bite on the sword. Clang. The sound of shattering sounded, and in Madara's surprised gaze, Suzunu's swords shattered after being directly bitten by the white tiger. How can it be? Madara's surprise did not stop the white tiger. After shattering the sword, the white tiger continued to move without losing momentum and slammed into Suzunu. Boom. With a loud noise, Suzunu was directly knocked out. There were even cracks on Suzunu's armor. Chance. Kakashi said as he quickly releases the 8 gates. And after that, the 3 Great Holy Lands Senjutsu Chakra on the Cursed Seals was released at the same time. This time, I must succeed. 3 different Senjutsu Chakra filled Kakashi's body, and then, Kakashi felt that his body was about to tear apart. Cough. Even after coughing a mouthful of blood, Kakashi didn't stop. He quickly uses flash steps, and moves towards Madara. Calm down. Please merge successfully. The three great holy lands Senjutsu Chakra seems to have realized that Kakashi's eagerness to succeed, and calmed down for a bit. Kakashi formed hand seals, and Riki reappeared in his hands again. Success or failure will be known at this moment. The blue lightning was transformed in an instant, and the three colors of silver, black and purple were continuously entwined. In the end, all the colors became the color of silver and white. Silver-white lightning. Madara was lying in the cracked Susanoo at this moment. How is it possible? Although the power of Susanoo can't be fully realized because of my old body, it has been actually cracked. The power of that technique is too strong. Madara muttered. At this time, Kakashi's figure suddenly appeared in front of Madara. What? Madara exclaimed. Take this. Madara. Sage Art, Star Destroyer, the silver white lightning turned into a giant blade, cutting towards Madara who is inside the Susanoo. Damn. The attack just now produced a huge shock, which made my old body weakened. Madara exclaimed, watching the silver white lightning was about to cut him. The blue Susanoo was originally cracked by the daytime tiger, and at this time, it was instantly destroyed like a piece of paper. No. How can I, Madara Uchiha, die here? Almighty push, Rinnegan's ninjutsu was used again, and the terrifying repulsion force burst out instantly. Kakashi frowned, and the silver white lightning spread instantly, enveloping Kakashi's body. A magical scene then appeared. The powerful repulsive force of Almighty Push could not push Kakashi back. Kakashi is actually moving forward even after being hit by Almighty Push's powerful repulsive force. Madara's pupils shrank and he exclaimed, how is it possible? Almighty Push actually failed? And in the next moment, the silver white lightning slammed into Madara's body fiercely. Arg! Madara let out a scream, and blood splattered. Madara, this is the end. Kakashi said in low voice. Madara gritted his teeth and shouted, it's still too early to celebrate. He stretched out his left hand and pressed it on Kakashi's chest. The 5-second usage time has already passed. Madara showed a cruel smile and yelled softly, Almighty Push. Kakashi's pupil shrank. He didn't expect that Madara could still use this trick at this time. Boom. A powerful repulsive force hit Kakashi's chest, and Kakashi flew out like a ragdoll. The silver white lightning also disappeared instantly. As for Madara, his arm and the right half of his chest were completely destroyed by Kakashi's Star Destroyer. Madara panted heavily, watching Kakashi's eyes full of admiration. He didn't expect that Kakashi could push him this far. Kakashi fell heavily to the ground, feeling all the bones on his body seems to be broken. With the side effects of the 8 gates, the after effects of the Senjutsu's fusion, plus being attacked by Almighty Push, head-on, Kakashi at this time is already seriously injured, and his body is already broken down. Kakashi struggled to move his body, but his body couldn't move. This is the end. Jintaki-sensei, goodbye. After spitting out a mouthful of blood again, Madara took out a black rod and threw it towards Kakashi. The terrifying wind resounded in the air. Kakashi was taken aback when he heard this sound, and stared blankly at the black rod that was flying towards him. Stab. Blood then spurted out. Kakashi's throat was actually pierced by the black rod. Chapter 361 A Short Sword. Kakashi felt severe pain spreading from his throat. His vision began to blur. Is this the feeling of death? Kakashi only felt that the pain in his body was being pulled away a little bit, leaving the pain in his throat that is becoming clearer. Is this the end? Kakashi's mind was like a revolving lantern, as memory flashed one by one. The confusion and fear at the beginning of when he just got here and gradually became stronger after training. Changed the childhood of Naruto, Jugo, and Karen, saved Hyuga Hisashi, fight against Lord 4th Raikage, saved Shisui, resolving the Uchiha clan so they are not annihilated, saved Lord 3rd Hokage, and fell in love with Drumroll. It turns out that I have done so many things. A smile appeared on the corner of Kakashi's mouth. He was fortunate that his experience was not in vain. He saved many people who should have died, and changed the tragic fate of many people. Kakashi felt that in this life, perhaps he did not live in vain. Everyone, I am sorry. I originally wanted to protect you, but I didn't expect that I still can't do anything. And I died in such a place. Haha, it's really ironic. His consciousness gradually became blurred, and Kakashi sat halfway on the ground, leaning against a stone wall behind him. From a distance, Madara looked messy, a large part of his left body was missing, and blood was flowing from his mouth. I don't expect to die in Madara's hand. Everything is over, so tired. This time, I can have a good rest. Kakashi slowly closed his eyes, and his sign of life gradually disappeared. Kakashi. Fallen. Madara seemed to breathe a sigh of relief when he felt the sign of life in Kakashi's body gradually dissipated. As expected of Jintaki-sensei, he can actually push me this far. It has been really a long time since I was exhausted and injured like this when fighting against someone. Madara covered his wound with one hand and stood up slowly. Looking at Kakashi, who is leaning by the stone wall, a long-lost emotion surged in Madara's heart for some reason. That feeling is like the sorrow he felt when he learned about Hashirama's death. In the end, I am the only one left in this world. Madara sighed, and then a trace of bitterness appeared on his face. The path that Madara chose was destined to be a path that is both dark and without companions. My injury is very serious. I must return to the base as soon as possible, and use the Jidomazo and Hashirama's cells to reserve my life. Otherwise, I am afraid I will die here. Madara said, and then he spit a mouthful of blood again. The wound on the left side of the body is worsening, and there is a strong numbness on his body. After being hit by the silver-white lightning, Madara's body became paralyzed, but Madara forcibly used the power of wood release to suppress the numbness and used Almighty Push to attack Kakashi. That's why Kakashi was so shocked when he saw Madara moved. Kakashi didn't expect that the numbness caused by the star destroyed could be suppressed by Madara in an instant. At that time, Kakashi's body was already beaten, and he can't move it very well, so that he was hit by Almighty Push. Madara stood up and looked at Kakashi. He then said in a low voice, "But first, I should take Mikaze's Sharingan from Jintaki-sensei. After all, it is a pair of good eyes." In recent years, Madara has collected a lot of Uchiha clan's Sharingan, but none of them can compare with Mikaze's Sharingan. Therefore, Madara attaches great importance to these eyes. After Madara hand over Rinnegan to Nagato, he needs new pair of eyes, so he chooses Mikaze's eyes. Madara walked towards the dead Kakashi slowly, with a trace of nostalgia in his eyes. Jintaki-sensei, the situation at that river back then was still vivid in my memories. I didn't expect that when we met again, we would fight like this. You are very strong. If not because I have this pair of eyes, I would be the one who died. Madara stood in front of Kakashi, feeling a little lonely. Madara stretched out his right hand, trying to search for Mikaze's Sharingan on Kakashi's body. At this moment, Madara was shocked. Someone is coming. This presence is very powerful. Whoosh! A burst of wind suddenly sounded. Madara's gaze narrowed, and he turned away, leaving the place. Boom! A silver-white short sword was stabbed to where Madara had just stood. Silver-white short sword? Hidden Leaf Village's White Fang? Madara was slightly surprised. Although he hadn't been appearing in the shinobi world for a long time, he still had some impressions of the shinobi who had recently become famous in the shinobi world. Madara looked up, and sure enough, a silver white-haired lone figure stood on the stone wall, looking at him with cold eyes. Damn it, what a bad timing. With my current condition, I can't deal with this Hidden Leaf Village's White Fang. It seems that I can only retreat first. Madara thought, and without a word, he began to run away. In just a few seconds, he disappeared into the distance. When Sakamo saw this, he did not chase after Madara. Instead, he landed in front of the short sword, gently pulled it up and placed it back into the scabbard on his back. He then turned and looked at the already dead Kakashi. The atmosphere turned a bit weird at this time. Am I too late? As Sakamo said that, he stepped forward to feel Kakashi's pulse. But, he didn't feel any pulse from Kakashi. Looking at the hole at Kakashi's throat, Sakamo sighed. Is this the man that Mikaze was talking about? But he is dead now. Sakamo muttered to himself, and at this moment, a green light suddenly appeared on Kakashi's body. Sakamo was shocked when he saw this, and exclaimed, "This is Hidden Sand Villages, one's own life reincarnation?" One's own life reincarnation is a forbidden technique for reincarnating someone, using the user's own life and chakra as the price of saving the dead. A high-level forbidden resurrection technique that uses one's life to save another. It was originally created by Hidden Sand Village to give life to the puppet, but after it was created, it was discovered that it can be used to exchange someone's life to resurrect someone else, and it was immediately banned. Few people know about it except for the high executives of Hidden Sand Village. But Sakamo is one of the few who knew this. In the war against Hidden Sand Village, Sakamo killed a pair of expert couples who used puppets, and on them, Sakamo got the scroll that contained about this technique. And this pair of expert couples is Chio's son and daughter-in-law, and they are also Seisaori's parents. Under the green light, the hole in Kakashi's throat gradually healed. Kakashi's sign of life also appeared again, but it seemed a little faint. When Sakamo saw this, he picked up Kakashi and left the place. The battle between the Madara and Kakashi just now is so big, so it would be bad if others were attracted to come there. So, it is better for Sakamo to leave that place first. Feeling Kakashi's slight breathing in his ears, Sakamo felt a warm feeling. Kakashi, I didn't expect to see you when you grow up so soon. Using flash steps, Sakamo disappeared from that place. In the darkness, Kakashi felt as if his soul had drifted somewhere. Standing on the ground again, Kakashi felt his body drop down, and the original light feeling disappeared. "Where is this?" Kakashi said softly. Suddenly, a fire appeared in the distance. The fire continued to burn, followed by a sizzling noise. A middle-aged man wearing a Hidden Leaf Village's vest sits next to the fire, showing Kakashi his back and his silver-white hair. Kakashi was taken aback, feeling that the scene before him was a little surprisingly familiar. "Oh, is it you, Kakashi? I didn't expect you to come so quickly." The familiar voice seemed to pull Kakashi into one of his early life memories. Kakashi stunned for a moment, and then said with a smile, "Yes, San." Chapter 362 Limbo long silver-white hair, and a gentle smile on his face. He is wearing a Hidden Leaf Village's Jonin vest, with a bandage wrapped around his right arm and a Hokage armband on his left arm. It is said that this armband can only be obtained by becoming a Hokage candidate after having achieved great feats. The person in front of Kakashi right now is Tsukumo Hatake, Kakashi's father, the so-called Hidden Leaf Village's White Fang who died of suicide. At this moment, he is sitting quietly next to the fire, and his murderous achievement from the shinobi world could not be seen at this moment. Right now, he looks like a father, looking at Kakashi with a smile. Kakashi's original heavy heart was lightened at this moment. "San, long time no see. I really didn't expect to see you after death." "Oh? It's been a long time? I didn't expect that. It has been a long time since I'm only here for a while now. I remember that you are 6 years old at that time. You're already big now. Kakashi, how old are you now?" Tsukumo said with a smile. 28, almost getting 29. Kakashi said, sitting next to Tsukumo. When Kakashi traveled through time, he was already 27 years old. After staying in those past timeline for more than a year, he is indeed almost 29 years old now. The father and son are sitting together at this time, and there is a kind of warm feeling surrounding them. 29? You really have died young. It's earlier than me, as I lived to 35 years old. Tsukumo said with a smile. Kakashi smiled helplessly and said, "I am sorry." Tsukumo waved his hand and said, "Fortunately, I arranged something. Otherwise, I am afraid that you will really die this time." Kakashi was taken aback, and said in surprise, "San, what do you mean? What did you arrange?" Tsukumo sighed and said, "This is gonna be a very long story. Fortunately, we still have a lot of time, so I can tell you slowly." A puzzled look appeared on Kakashi's face, but he was not in a hurry. After so many years of being shinobi, he has developed enough patience. "This matter may have to start when I was 16. I was a good friend with Mikaze. At that time, he went to perform a mission, and when he came back, he awakened his Sharingan and he became completely different from before. At first, I thought it was because his teammate, Amaru, died, but then I found out that that was not the case." Kakashi listened attentively as Tsukumo talked about the past. That familiar face made Kakashi a little nostalgic, making him recall when he was in his father's arms when he was a child. How long have I not experienced that feeling? It's been too long, so Kakashi almost forgets that feeling. It's great to be like this now, Kakashi thought, with a smile on his face. A few years later, the name of me and Mikaze began to spread in the shinobi world, but Mikaze seems to intentionally hide his strength, so I rushed to the front in many situations. Because of that, my reputation is getting more and more famous while Mikaze's reputation become more and more unknown. But I know that Mikaze is very strong, definitely not someone a normal jonin can compare. Once on a mission, several of his companions died. Mikaze was in a bad mood, so he came to me for a drink. After drinking for 3 rounds, Mikaze became a little drunk and suddenly said something to me. Can you guess what it is? As Tsukumo said that, he suddenly looked at Kakashi. Kakashi was taken aback, and then said, "Is it about me?" Tsukumo smiled and said, "Yes, he's talking about you. He said that in the mission back then, he saw a person who claimed to be my son, and told me a bunch of inexplicable words. I just thought it was just Mikaze is talking nonsense, but in the next morning, when I asked him again, he told me with a heavy face that those things were true. It turns out that Mikaze-senpai actually told San about me a long time ago." Kakashi was surprised. Tsukumo nodded and said, "Yeah, I thought that Mikaze was crazy at the time, and didn't believe it very much. Until one time, something happened, and I finally thought that what Mikaze said might be true." "What is it?" Kakashi wondered. "It's because of you." "Me?" Kakashi was taken aback again. When Tsukumo said this, his expression was a bit lonely. "That day, I returned to Hidden Leaf Village with you who was just born, and Mikaze came to pick me up. He was able to know about your name even before I told him. Your name is something that only me, Ayako and Maiko know about, but he knew it too. I finally understand that it's not a coincidence, and what he said it's true." "Really?" I didn't expect San to believe in Mikaze-senpai because of my name. Kakashi, about Ayako. Sakamo was a little embarrassed and didn't know how to speak. When Kakashi was still a child, Sakamo could never tell Kakashi about Ayako. Hearing this, Kakashi smiled and said, San, I have been to the Hidden Eri village, and I have seen Kasan's grave there. I have also been to Heshi village, and I have met Mikoba-san. From her mouth, I already know about San and Kasan's situation. Sakamo was taken aback when he heard this, and then smiled. Really? That's good. I will have your ashes and Kasan's buried together. Sakamo smiled and said, Thank you, it's great to be buried with Ayako after death. Sakamo's face showed a look of nostalgia, and Kakashi did not disturb him. After a while, Sakamo continued, I remembered some past events and felt a little emotional. Let's continue with Mikaze. Soon after that, I and Mikaze were sent to the Land of Rain to become Hidden Leaf Village's army commander in the war. Before we reached the Land of Rain, he told me that he had an ominous premonition, but for the sake of the war, he went to the Hidden Sand Village's base camp and caused chaos there. In the end, although we won the war, we found Mikaze's corpse who was brought back to our base. Kakashi was silent. He knew that he was the one who brought back Mikaze's corpse to Hidden Leaf Village's base. Kakashi was about to speak, when Sakamo continued, I know that you are the one who brought Mikaze's body back, and the person who killed Mikaze's Madara Uchiha. Kakashi was taken aback, and quickly asked, San, how do you know about that? Sakamo smiled and said, because after that, you will see me. See you? But am I not already dead? Kakashi muttered. When the battle between you and Madara Uchiha has just ended, I arrived. The seriously injured Madara Uchiha didn't dare to fight with me, so he retreated. Do you know what I saw in you afterwards? What? The light of the resurrection. The light of the resurrection? Kakashi was even more shocked after hearing this. After all, there were not many ninjutsu that could be used to resurrect someone in this world. It's one's own life reincarnation, and the ninjutsu come out from somewhere inside your body. As Sakamo said that, he pokes a finger on Kakashi's forehead. One's own life reincarnation? How is it possible? Kakashi was very shocked. Chapter 363 The truth From that time Sakamo threw a branch into the fire, and the fire burns even more vigorous. At that time, I was able to learn about how to use one's own life reincarnation after getting the scroll from the battlefield. So when I saw the content of the scroll, I knew it was this technique that was resurrecting you. Combined with what Mikaze told me, I had already guessed all of the matter. Then San, did you commit suicide for me? Kakashi asked in shock. It's only half of the reason. In fact, as early as Ayako died, I wanted to leave with Ayako, but Ayako saw through my heart, and told me to raise you up. On one hand, I didn't want to disappoint Ayako, and on the other hand, I really can't just let you live alone. So, I chose to take you back to Hidden Leaf Village to raise you until you are 6 years old. Because of that failed mission, I chose to commit suicide. Everyone said that you committed suicide because you can't stand the rumors, but I know that San is not such a weak person, Kakashi said. After hearing this, Sakamo looked pleased and said, the rumors, naturally, didn't get into my heart. In order to make my reputation unable to continue to rise, thus making me unable to get the Hokage's position, Denzo has greatly exaggerated about my failed mission. At that time, my reputation is indeed too high, so Lord Third Hokage did not deal with this matter in time in order to suppress my high reputation. I don't blame them for this. The means for politics have never been bright. At that time, Hidden Leaf Village needed a stable condition and could not be split because of me. Then why? Since San is not taking the rumor to the heart, why should you commit suicide? Kakashi asked. Naturally it is for you and also for Hidden Leaf Village. Sakamo said with a smile. For me and Hidden Leaf Village? Yeah, for you and Hidden Leaf Village. My presence affected Hidden Leaf Village's balance. There were a lot of Hidden Leaf Village's shinobi who supported me to fight for the position of Hokage and oust Lord Third Hokage. Especially my subordinates in Anbu. How come? Anbu is the direct subordinate of the Hokage. How can they encourage you to do that? Kakashi was puzzled. Yeah, the reason is because Anbu is not the root. They have their own beliefs and persistence. At that time, Hidden Leaf Village experienced a defeat, and the defeated commander is the Lord Third Hokage. That defeat also caused someone important to die. And these aroused Anbu's dissatisfaction at that time. Who is that important person? Kato Dan, the Anbu's commander at that time, and also the lover of Tsunade. It's him. Yes, it is him. Kato Dan's reputation is very good, especially for the members of Anbu. Therefore, in the minds of Anbu's members at the time, Kato Dan was the best Hokage candidate. At that time, due to the Lord Third Hokage's misjudgment, Kato Dan fell into the enemy's trap and died. And Tsunade was also become completely depressed because of this incident. Tsunade and Dan, these two people were the two most loved Hidden Leaf Village's shinobi at that time. Although Lord Third Hokage was indeed guilty, these people's complaints are too much. It turns out that this is the case. The original thing was so complicated. Kakashi murmured. Complexity is hard to talk about. It's some political issues, and these have always been the things I hate the most. Tsukumo said with a smile. So, these shinobi were supporting me because of my prestige, and also because of Dan and Tsunade. They hope that Lord Third Hokage will step down as soon as possible. They have already had some doubts about Lord Third Hokage's ability. But that is obviously impossible. After all, we are still in the war at that time, and temporary change of commander is taboo, not to mention the change of Hokage. Lord Third Hokage was very distressed at that time, so he did not stop Denzo's action. Their purpose is to provide a stable condition in Hidden Leaf Village. And I know that too. But I know that this won't solve the problem. It will only temporarily suppress it, and people's hearts are complicated. Facing against the other four great shinobi villages, Hidden Leaf Village is in danger. So, I chose to commit suicide, to make all of those who support me to give up on me. And this is also the fastest way to calm people's hearts. Tsukumo said. San, you. Kakashi didn't know what to say after hearing this. Tsukumo's choice could be called selfless dedication, but in this way, it felt too extreme. Do you think I am too extreme in my choice? Tsukumo said with a smile. Kakashi nodded and said, San, there was definitely a better solution at the time, but you chose this one. And, with your wisdom, you should be able to guess that mission is a trap. Why should you still take that mission? Tsukumo smiled and said, yeah, I know. It's just that Ayako is dead, Mikaze is also dead and my heart is already dead a long time ago. I survived just to take care of you. And after seeing that you were already good enough at that time, I was relieved. The companion who died at that mission was a subordinate who had been following me all this time, and indeed I'm feeling guilty because of that. And, I know, you will be killed in the future, and only I can resolve it. Death is my best destination. Is it for this time? Kakashi said. Yes, it is for this moment. You have been pierced in your throat by Madara Uchiha. If you want to live, you can only be resurrected by forbidden technique. So, I use the four-symbol seal to seal my chakra and vitality in your heart, so that once you die, this seal will be released and you will be resurrected. At this time, your body should have been restored. And the past me should also guard you by your side. Tsukumo said with a smile. San. Well, I've told you everything. Now, I can go to Ayako with peace of mind. San, thank you. I didn't understand your approach back then. I think you are a trash because you didn't follow the shinobi's rule. But I can understand your approach now. Kakashi said sincerely. Tsukumo was taken aback when he heard Kakashi's words, and then smiled. Thank you, Kakashi, it's great to get your forgiveness. At that time, you were still small, but I just gave up on you and left. I think you have done very good works all these years. Kakashi smiled and said, having such a great father, these hard works are nothing. What's more, San, you also do this to save me. Ha ha ha, I can't be considered great, just to doing my part for my children. I am very pleased to see your growth right now. Not only on your strength, but also on your heart. Tsukumo said as he patted Kakashi's shoulder with a gratifying look. Kakashi, tell me about your things over the years. Well, San, it's like this. At first, after you died, I applied for advanced graduation, and then... Next to the fire, Kakashi slowly told him about the bit by bit of what happened to him in the past few years. And Tsukumo listened with a smile, enjoying the warmth atmosphere of father and son. This may also be the last time the two met. Chapter 364 changes. The fire is getting smaller and smaller, and the space has become more and more bleak. Kakashi also just finished talking about his last journey. Tsukumo smiled and said, I didn't expect that in your short life, you can have such a rich experience. It's really rare. If I can, I would like my life to be plain. Haha, there is a kind of person in this world who is born to do great things. You can't escape that. I believe that you will be needed in the future of the world of Shinobi. Tsukumo said with a smile. I don't know about the future of the world of Shinobi, but I will definitely protect the people I cherish. Kakashi firmly said. After hearing this, Tsukumo looked emotional and said, then you have to do your best. I wasn't able to save Ayako and Mikaze. Those were the biggest regrets in my life. San, I will do my best. Kakashi nodded as he promised Tsukumo. Well, seeing you like this, I'm relieved. This fire is almost extinguished, and there are only a few of my chakra left inside your body. Kakashi, don't rush to come here to find me and Ayako. Tsukumo said with a smile. San, I will live with your faith. I will protect the hidden leaf village that you cherish, and even the peace in the shinobi world. At this time, a white light began to appear on Sakamo's body and it also began to blur. Kakashi saw Sakamo smiled and said, "Silly boy, I don't need you to be a hero. I only hope that you can live with the person you cherish until you are old. That is enough for me and Yako." Kakashi was taken aback. He finally understood that what parents want their children to do is sometimes only a simple thing. "I will, San," Kakashi said firmly. Sakamo nodded in relief, waved to Kakashi, and with a burst of white light, his figure gradually disappeared into nothingness. The fire was completely extinguished at this moment, and the space turned dark. "San, I won't let you down," Kakashi murmured. Immediately, Kakashi lost his consciousness again. He didn't know how long it took, but Kakashi only felt a pain in his body, and he felt that his consciousness has returned to his body again. Kakashi opened his eyes with difficulty, and saw an unfamiliar ceiling. "Where is this?" Kakashi found himself in a bed at this time. The bed was very simple, but there was a feeling of cleanliness. Kakashi's eyes scanned around the room, and he made a judgment instantly. The one living here is not rich, but also not poor. Inside the room there is a blanket made of animal fur. Things like tableware and chopsticks seem to be made of bamboo or animal bones. The one living here must have depended on hunting for a living. Otherwise, with such a simple house, they should not be able to afford these things. Kakashi rubbed his temple with his right hand, and said in a low voice, "It seems that I'm really saved. Sen is right. I am not dead," Kakashi said as he put his right hand on his heart. He felt to be a lot lighter. After all, the seal that was originally created by Sakamo has been released. Kakashi never knew that Sakamo had put such a seal on his body before he died. That heavy paternal love, Kakashi can feel it very clearly at this time. He touched his throat that was pierced by Madara before and saw that it was white and flawless as if it was never injured at all. It seems that the injuries on my body have been healed by one's own life reincarnation. What a magical ninjutsu, no wonder it needs life as the payment. Kakashi sat on the bed. Although he did not know where he is right now, but according to what his father said, at this time it should be his father who put him here, so he shouldn't be in any danger. However, as a shinobi, naturally he must have the power to protect himself at any time. So Kakashi sat cross-legged on the bed, controlling the chakra from his body. "Huh? My body seems to have undergone a certain change." Kakashi stopped what he is doing, and then found what is wrong with his body. Originally, Kakashi had 3 cursed seals on his back, but at this time, only 1 remained. And the energy contained in the remaining cursed seal seems to be completely different from the previous senjutsu. What is going on? Kakashi felt that it is strange, and quickly poured his spiritual force into it. He saw that there was a very powerful power in the remaining cursed seal, and this power gave Kakashi a very familiar feeling. Silver White Senjutsu Chakra is the product of the fusion of 3 great holy lands senjutsu. Kakashi was surprised, then turned ecstatic. Originally it was just a slightly fused, but has it been fully fused now? Under the detection of his spiritual force, Kakashi's original surprise slowly disappeared. He felt that it doesn't seem to be as optimistic as he expected. The 3 great holy lands senjutsu chakra seems to be really fused, but the quantity is very small. With this quantity, it is estimated that using Star Destroyer would exhaust it after using it only once. And it seems that it cannot be used freely. After Kakashi released the cursed seal and experienced the feeling of the new senjutsu chakra, he found that the flow of the senjutsu chakra is very sluggish. It seems that although the senjutsu chakra is fused, it will take some time for me to be familiar with it if I want to use it freely. It should not be used for the time being. And depending on the situation, before this silver-white senjutsu chakra is fully mastered, I am afraid that I can't even use the normal 3 great holy lands senjutsu. Kakashi has just absorbed Mount Miyabaku's senjutsu chakra, but after he absorbed it, it was absorbed by the silver-white cursed seal and could not stay in his body. After that, Kakashi then tried to absorb the Richie Caves senjutsu chakra and the Shikatsu Forest's senjutsu chakra, but the results were the same. Therefore, Kakashi had to came to this conclusion. However, Kakashi didn't think it was a big deal for not being able to use senjutsu for now. The fusion of senjutsu chakra is the very important thing for him, and it doesn't matter if he can't use other senjutsu for now. Besides, even without senjutsu, Kakashi still has a lot of cards left. Although his combat power has decreased, there are not many shinobi that can win against Kakashi in the shinobi world. In any case, it is a good thing that senjutsu has finally showed sign of fusing. I can feel that the newly fused senjutsu chakra is very powerful. If I can fully grasp it, my strength will definitely be able to soar to a new level. Thinking of this, Kakashi couldn't help but clench his fist. Although he died once in this battle, The gains he got were not small. The fusion of senjutsu that has always been distressing him has finally achieved a breakthrough. Kakashi got out of bed. Although his body has not fully recovered yet, but there shouldn't be much problem with moving his bones and muscles. At this time, the door was opened. The person who came in has long silver white hair. Chapter 365 Secluded Clan. The person has long silver hair, fair skin, and a bowl of soup in its hands. It is a woman. When the woman saw Kakashi wake up, she was taken aback for a moment, and then she was pleasantly surprised and said, "Are you awake? That's great. Who are you? Where is this place?" Kakashi was surprised. "My name is Hatake Jintsuki. This is the secluded place of the Hatake clan. Are you also from the Hatake clan? I can tell from your hair. Sakamo-sama is the one who brought you here," Jintsuki said with a smile. Kakashi was taken aback. This is the secluded place of the Hatake clan? Hearing this, Kakashi stood up and pushed open the door. Sure enough, this place was somewhat similar to the place where he had traveled to the Hatake clan last time. After being rejected by Mages last time, Kakashi went to the place where the Hatake clan's member lived in seclusion in order to look at the situation and to pass time. One of them is to see whether Sasu has fulfilled the agreement with him or not, and the other is to see how is the situation of the Hatake clan's members who lives in seclusion. After Kakashi went to see it, he found that it was indeed a good place to live in seclusion, and there were also many members of the Hatake clan. At that time, Kakashi was also relieved. As long as these people did not have an accident in the future, the Hatake clan won't vanish from the shinobi world. Kakashi didn't meet with the Hatake clan's members at that time, and left directly after seeing the situation as he didn't want to influence these people anymore. After that, Kakashi waited quietly for more than 3 months before the energy in Dragon Veins recovered and go into this timeline. "Mister, what's wrong with you?" Jintsuki asked in confusion after seeing Kakashi suddenly reacted so intensely. "It's nothing," Kakashi said. Jintsuki was a little puzzled, and then as if understanding of something, she then said, "Are you wondering how the Hatake clan lives in seclusion? In fact, we are going to seclusion before the Hatake clan joined Hidden Leaf Village. It seems that the clan head at that time said that it was just in case. Back then, my grandmother led the clansmen to come here and thrive. No one knew about this except for the Hatake clan's clan head. So it's normal if you don't know about this." "Who is your grandmother?" Kakashi asked. "My grandmother's name is Hatake Hanatsuki," Jintsuki said with a smile. "Hanatsuki?" Kakashi murmured, looking at the woman named Jintsuki in front of him, and said, "Was it your grandmother who named you?" Hearing this, Jintsuki was shocked and said, "How did you know?" Hearing Jintsuki's response, Kakashi could only bitterly laugh. "Jintsuki? Jintaki and Hanatsuki. I didn't expect that at the end, Hanatsuki still can't forget about me. Why don't you answer me?" Jintsuki asked doubtfully. "It's nothing, I just guessed." Kakashi smiled, but that smile was somewhat restrained. "You can guess this? Isn't it too exaggerated? As expected of the person brought back by Sakamo-sama, you're really different," Jintsuki praised. "Haha." Kakashi gave a dry laugh. Silver Moon only remembered that the reason she came in this time is to give medicine to Kakashi. "Mister, this is your medicine. You should drink it." "No, my injury has almost recovered. I will be fine after a few days of rest, so I don't need to take this medicine," Kakashi said. He has no interest in drinking such bitter thing. "Really?" Jintsuki asked doubtfully. "Of course it's true. I won't lie about my body," Kakashi said with a smile. Hearing this, Jintsuki nodded and said, "That's good then. By the way, where is this Sakamo-sama you're talking about?" Sakamo-sama said that he still has things to do, so he left first. "This is the letter he left for you," Jintsuki said as she took a letter from her pocket and handed it to Kakashi. Kakashi took it, and saw that the envelope was still intact, proving that no one has opened it yet. Kakashi opened it, and after a few glances, he burned the letter. "Eh? Why did you burn it?" Jintsuki asked in surprise. "Some things can't be shown to others," Kakashi said. "Wow, it's really mysterious. By the way, are you Hidden Leaf Village's Hatake clan? What is Hidden Leaf Village like? Can you tell me? I have never been to Hidden Leaf Village. There are some rules in the clan. It's said that we can go anywhere, but we can't go to Hidden Leaf Village. But Hidden Leaf Village is the biggest shinobi village in this world, so I really want to go and see it." Jintsuki has been talking to Kakashi's ears non-stop. At this moment, Kakashi didn't know whether to cry or laugh. This girl can really talk too much. In the end, Kakashi asked Village to go out first as he wanted to take a rest, and only then did he gain the peace for his ears. Kakashi lay in bed, and the contents of the letter appeared in his mind. The content of the letter is very simple. Tsukumo is telling Kakashi to stay here to heal his wounds first, as he needs to return to the battlefield to command the army. After all, at this time, Tsukumo is the highest commander of Hidden Leaf Village's army in the Land of Rain. And Tsukumo also told him in the letter that he will come over to talk to Kakashi about something later. Seeing the content of the letter, Kakashi would naturally hold back his plan to leave. Although Kakashi didn't know what Tsukumo in this timeline was going to say to him, Kakashi would naturally not refuse Tsukumo's request. In any case, there are still some injuries in my body, so let's take care of the injuries first. Kakashi secretly thought, and then made a decision. After spending a few days in the secluded place of the Hatake clan, Kakashi's injuries are almost completely healed. Kakashi did not say hello to the other members of the Hatake clan, and at the same time he told Jintsuki not to tell his existence to the other clansmen. The reason is simple. The fewer people who know about him, the less likely it is for unexpected things to happen. At this time Kakashi has got Migeza's Sharingan, so his next step is to leave this timeline, so Kakashi does not want to have another accident. On the other side, in a dark underground base, Madara sat quietly on the ground, and behind him is the Jidomazo. Tubes were inserted into Madara's body, and the part of his body that had been destroyed by Kakashi was patched with Hashirama cells. Madara closed his eyes, and his expression shows that he is in pain. White Zetsu stood there blankly, and motionless. After a long time, Madara opened his eyes and muttered, Jinbaki-sensei's senjutsu is really amazing. Not only it destroyed my body, but it also absorbed my vitality. Now it seems that I can only rely on this Jidomazo to survive. As Madara said that, his fists were tightly squeezed together, obviously feeling a little angry. White Zetsu, do you know where the Hidden Leaf Village's White Fang took Jinbaki-sensei's body? Lord Madara, the White Fang is very powerful. I can't track him at all. Is that so? That's okay. Now I want you to go and bring me the child named Nagato. I will transplant my Rinnegan to him. And remember, you must be hidden, don't let anyone know about this. Yes. Lord Madara. After seeing White Zetsu left, Madara sighed and murmured, the chess pieces have not been completely set up yet, I still can't die now. Chapter 366 Return. Madara looked at the Jidomazo behind him, his plan had just begun, and the chess piece had not yet been completely set yet, so how could he die here? Jinbaki-sensei, I didn't expect you would cause me such a big trouble when you died. Had said with a light smile. Madara turned his head to look at the pile of White Zetsu's test subjects not far away. It seems that I have to spend the rest of my life here from now. Right now, if I am disconnected from Jidomazo, I am afraid I will die immediately. With White Zetsu's ability, if I want to take Migeza's Sharingan from Hidden Leaf Village's White Fang, it is probably impossible. It seems that I can only give up on it. Fortunately, there are some stocks from before, otherwise I won't have Sharingan after giving my Rinnegan. Madara muttered to himself. The next step is to wait for the right person to appear. Migeza's son, Obito Uchiha. He should be a good candidate. I just need to give him some time to grow up. Also, Nagato, I hope that this little brat would be able to use the power of Rinnegan, otherwise, I am afraid that I will not be resurrected. Madara said, closing his eyes and starting to think his plan. His body can no longer withstand fighting, so Madara can only simulate the missing part of the plan in his mind. There can be no mistakes in this plan, otherwise, my dream will never be realized. It seems that another person is needed to supervise this plan. Madara suddenly thought of this. After all, Nagato and Obito are existences that Madara cannot fully control, so he needs someone to supervise them. Madara looked at his palm and murmured, Sage of Six Paths can create everything in this world with his yin and yang release, then I also should be create a character with my yin and yang release to supervise these two. Let's call him Black Zetsu. But right now, my situation is a bit bad, so this thing will be temporarily suspended. Madara said, and then he falls into silence again. In this gloomy space, it became dead silence again. From then on, Madara never saw the sunshine at the outside again until he died. On the other side, in Hidden Leaf Village. Hidden Leaf Village is a village where the Hatake clan lived in seclusion. Kakashi is sitting on a cliff at this time and muttered, the location of this Hidden Leaf Village is really good. If someone doesn't know that there is a village here, they won't be able to find it. It seems that there should be no problem for the Hatake clan even in the future. Kakashi then stood up, and was ready to leave. At this moment, Kakashi suddenly felt that someone was approaching from behind him. Ding! With a crisp sound, a silver-white short sword slashed on the Millennium Sword summoned by Kakashi. Very good reaction ability. Tsukumo said. Kakashi was taken aback, and then smiled, thanks for the praise. I have a guess about your identity, so I won't ask much. You don't need to tell me about the future. I don't want to know. I just want to ask you a few questions. Tsukumo said coldly. Although he knew that the man in front of him was the future of his son Kakashi, Tsukumo couldn't accept it for a while. After all, Kakashi is only a few years younger than him right now. Looking at Tsukumo in front of him, Kakashi couldn't help but have a weird feeling. This Tsukumo felt quite different from the one I saw in my consciousness before. The Tsukumo in front of him had a murderous aura that could not be concealed, but the Tsukumo in his consciousness before had a gentle feeling. After thinking about it for a moment, Kakashi understood why there was such a big difference. The current Tsukumo was killing a lot of enemies in the battlefield, so naturally the murderous aura on his body wouldn't disappear in a short while, coupled with Migeza's death that Tsukumo obviously had not fully recovered from yet. And the Tsukumo in his consciousness had already let go of everything, and he was relaxed, so he naturally has a feeling of gentleness. Perhaps after this battle, Tsukumo will curb his edge and become calmer. You can ask. I will tell you what I know. Very well. First, was Migeza's death caused by Madara Uchiha? Yes. Okay. Second, are Migeza's eyes in your possession at this moment? Kakashi frowned and said, yes. Okay, last question, when are you leaving? At any time. Tsukumo asked the three questions quickly and Kakashi also answered quickly. After finished asking, Tsukumo pondered for a moment, and then said, I understand, I entrust Migeza's eyes to you, and I will also entrust Hatake clan's future to you. Also, leave as soon as possible. Time is not something you can play with. After Tsukumo finished speaking, he disappeared using flash steps. Kakashi stayed in place, deep in thought. Tsukumo's decisiveness was beyond Kakashi's expectation. He didn't expect that Tsukumo was coming here just to ask him these three questions. However, the style of this questioning is very much like his father's back then. Kakashi still remembers that his father spoke like this when he was 3 or 4 years old. But later, it slowly became warmer. Today, seeing the past Tsukumo makes Kakashi feel a little emotional. Feeling grateful, Kakashi then get ready to leave. Sen is right. Time is not something that I can play with. I've caused too much trouble this time, so I have to leave as soon as possible. Kakashi has a hunch that if he continues to mess around, maybe the entire timeline will be messed up. By the time, Kakashi could never go back. It's time to go back. I should say my goodbye to Jintsuki first. Kakashi said, and he went to find Jintsuki. Jintsuki is cooking at this moment, and when Kakashi stood there, Jintsuki has not noticed it, and is still working hard. The meal is almost ready. I will call Mr. Kakashi to come and eat later. Kakashi felt warm when he heard this. Kakashi felt very relieved after knowing that there are always people who care about him no matter what timeline he was in. Jintsuki, Kakashi called softly. Jintsuki froze for a moment, then looked back and saw Kakashi standing there. Then, she couldn't help but said, Mr. Kakashi, why come you are? I am here to say goodbye to you, I am going to leave soon. Huh? So fast? Don't you want to stay for a few more days? Jintsuki said rather reluctantly. Haha, Jintsuki, I still have things to do. But rest assured, I will see you again in the future. Really? Jintsuki said as she looks at Kakashi with her big eyes. Of course it's true, I won't lie to you. That's great. I will wait for Mr. Kakashi to come to see me, so don't lie to me. Jintsuki said with a smile. Of course, I will not lie to you, Jintsuki. Good. The 16-year-old girl, Jintsuki, showed a happy smile and looked forward when the day when this promise fulfilled. During the girl's innocent years, she had some good feelings and expectations for this inexplicable person. But of course she was far from being in love. It's just that the girl doesn't know that this promise can only be fulfilled after more than 20 years. Kakashi looked at the distance, at the direction of the dragon veins. It's time to go back. I don't know what's going on there. Chapter 367 Itachi's sickness. In the 62 year after Hidden Leaf Village was built, at the dragon veins in the vast desert. A white light suddenly appeared on the platform in the dragon veins, and then a figure slowly appeared. The figure has silver white hair, white short-sleeved trench coat, and handsome face. It is Kakashi. Ha, I'm finally back. It should have been nearly 2 years, a year earlier than I expected. Kakashi muttered softly. He originally thought that his trip might take 3 years, but he didn't expect it would only take 2 years. It's because everything goes well. Kakashi walked out of the dragon veins and saw the familiar sky. At this moment, suddenly Kakashi felt something strange. When Kakashi wanted to get back into the dragon veins, he felt that the dragon veins that he had just come out was actually isolated by an unknown energy, and Kakashi could not get past it. This is... Kakashi was surprised as the dragon veins seemed to be rejecting him. It seems that my time travel made the dragon veins remember me and repelled me. It seems that I will not be able to enter the dragon veins anymore in the future. If I force to get in, I am afraid that the dragon veins will collapse on its own. Kakashi muttered to himself. Any world is in order, and Kakashi's action this time is destroying this order. So he can't do it anymore. Well, it's good as it makes me won't thinking about traveling through time again. Kakashi chuckled, and his mood became a lot more relaxed. Kakashi glanced around and didn't stay for a long time. He directly used Hiraishin no Jutsu, Flying Thunder God Jutsu, and disappeared from that place. In the next moment, in a certain room in Hidden Tea Village, Kakashi's figure appears quietly. Looking around the room, Kakashi muttered, "There is no change here." Kakashi did not choose to return to Hidden Leaf Village, but came to Hidden Tea Village. After leaving the room, Kakashi was slightly surprised after seeing everything in front of him. The Hidden Tea Village has become completely different from the last time he is here that it is almost unbelievable. The towering buildings all around making it looks like a great village like Hidden Leaf Village. I really don't know what Shizue has done in the past 2 years. The change is too much. Kakashi murmured. Just when Kakashi was feeling emotional, a figure landed in front of Kakashi. The figure is Shizue. "Kakashi? You're back? Is the matter resolved?" Shizue said in surprise. "Well, it's done, sooner than expected." Kakashi smiled. "That's good." Shizue said with a smile. "How's Akatsuki in the past 2 years?" Kakashi asked. Akatsuki has been very low-key in the past 2 years. The information from Itachi said that Akatsuki is raising a lot of funds and they probably are getting ready to act, Shizue said. Kakashi nodded. According to the original work, it should be a year later that Akatsuki officially starts their plan. "How is Hidden Leaf Village's situation?" Kakashi asked. Naruto followed Lord Jiraiya traveling out of the village to train. Sasuke is being trained by clan head Fugaku, and Lady Tsunade gradually grasped the authority in Hidden Leaf Village. "Well, those are the important news," Shizue said. "It seems that everything is moving in a good direction." Kakashi smiled. "Yeah, but there is a problem I am a little worried about," Shizue said while frowning. "What is it?" "Itachi's body." "Itachi's body?" "I have seen Itachi once after Orochimaru invaded Hidden Leaf Village. His body seemed to be sick. Is it becoming more serious now?" Kakashi frowned. Shizue nodded and said, "Yes, this guy is always getting into something. Did you remember that we once go to the sealed place of Sword of Totsuka back then? Itachi got a clue about the Yatamura there, and then he went to find it himself. He was able to found it. However, he also suffered serious injuries. Coupled with improper recuperation, his body is getting worse than before. If this continues, he may die in 2 years. Yatamura. No wonder he suffered serious injuries." Remembering the last time when he was in the sealed place of Sword of Totsuka, Kakashi could understand the difficulties to get the legendary artifact. "Kakashi, do you have a way to treat Itachi's body?" Shizue asked. "I've only seen him once, so I don't know exactly what condition he is in. Itachi always likes to carry it by himself. But if Lady Tsunade makes a move, it shouldn't be a big problem," Kakashi said. "Lady Tsunade? I also thought about this issue, but right now, with Itachi's identity, it is obviously not suitable for him to get treatment from Lady Tsunade. But if we wait until Akatsuki is resolved, I'm afraid that Itachi won't be able to hold it," Shizue said worriedly. Kakashi thought for a while, and then said, "There is another way." "What is it?" "In addition the injury he got from when he went to find the Yatamura, his sickness should also because of the side effects after using Mengekyo Sharingan. If we can transplant Hashirama cells to Itachi, he may be cured," Kakashi said. After hearing this, Shizue looked at his left hand that was created from Hashirama cells and transplanted to become his new arm. The arm composed of Hashirama cells allows Shizue to feel the surging vitality. Not only it enhances his own chakra, but it also minimizes the side effects from using Mengekyo Sharingan. If it is transplanted to Itachi, it should be able to heal Itachi's sick body. "It makes sense," Shizue said joyfully. "However, we don't have a suitable person to transplant Hashirama cells to Itachi. It is impossible to find Orochimaru now, and Lady Tsunade will definitely not agree to do this kind of thing," Kakashi said. "It's okay, there are medical shinobi in Hidden Tea Village right now, and I also have Hashirama cells. As long as a little research be done, it should not be difficult to transplant it to Itachi," Shizue said. "In that case, I'll leave this to you." "Okay." Shizue nodded in response. "Good, then I will leave first," Kakashi said. "Back to Hidden Leaf Village?" "No. There is another person I'm going to see first. I guess that she is very worried about me after these 2 years," Kakashi said with a smile. Hearing this, Shizue was taken aback for a moment, then he said with a smile, "Oh, then you should go to see her." She has already developed Hidden Mist Village very well, and the mess left by the Lord 4th Mizukage has all been cleaned up. Is that so? That's amazing. Then, I will go now. Kakashi smiled. Yeah. Kakashi's figure disappeared instantly. Shisui only smiled when he saw this, and then turned and left. The Land of Water, Hidden Mist Village. At this moment, Mai is now standing on a mountain. This place is where she usually with Kakashi at Hidden Mist Village. Mai held a red jade stone in her hand, looked into the distance, and muttered, "It's been 2 years, are you okay?" "Well, I'm fine." An abrupt voice sounded in Mai's ear, making her stiffen. That lazy voice, the familiar smell, and the familiar feeling behind me. "Mai, I am back," Kakashi said with a smile. Mai turned around abruptly and hugged Kakashi tightly. Her eyes are turning slightly red. Chapter 368 Toki's trouble. You finally came back. I'm so worried about you. Mai held Kakashi tightly, her face showed the joy after having a long-awaited reunion. "Yeah, I'm back, sorry to make you worried," Kakashi said with a smile. "It's okay, the most important thing is that you come back safely," Mai joyfully said. "Thank you. Is things going well?" Mai asked. "Well, it went well, that's why I came back early." Kakashi smiled. "Are you hurt?" "Of course not. Although Kakashi almost died, he won't tell this thing to Mai. After all, he is fine now, and it's better than let Mai worried." Mai didn't have any doubt after hearing this. After all, standing in front of her is a complete fine Kakashi. So it's enough for her. The two people who hadn't seen each other for a long time spent time together for a while. So the Lord 5th Mizukage magically disappeared from Hidden Mist Village for another night, making Ao worried for a while. Fortunately, the next morning, Mai came back with a very joyful smile on her face. Although Ao did not know what was going on, he didn't ask Mai about it. After all, it's not a bad thing after seeing Mai showed such a joyful expression. He is just a subordinate. So it will annoy Mai if Ao cause excessive intervention in her life. At this time, Kakashi finally returned to Hidden Leaf Village. After telling Tsunade about his return, Kakashi left the Hokage Tower. As for the mission arrangement, it will take a few days. After all, after Kakashi left, things have been rescheduled. It would take a few more days to arrange the arrangement as Kakashi came back to take over at this time. Naturally, Kakashi had no opinion on this. And he wished that this arrangement would take a few more days than expected. When he walked around Hidden Leaf Village's street, although he only left for 2 years, Kakashi felt it has been a long time. The familiar feeling in Hidden Leaf Village makes Kakashi feel very warm. Because it feels like home here for him. As he was walking, Kakashi felt a little hungry. After rubbing his stomach, Kakashi muttered, "It's been a long time since I had ramen." With this idea, he naturally moved towards Ikiraku Ramen. It's still the same small restaurant. As it's not lunchtime at this time, there are no people in the restaurant. Kakashi walked in and sat on the chair. Seeing someone coming in, Tuki, who was sitting in the corner of the kitchen, immediately reacted. He got up, bent over and said, "I am very sorry, I am not doing business today. Please come back another day." Kakashi was taken aback when he heard this. "Why did I am so unlucky? After finally come here, did you have to go home empty-handed?" "Tuki-san, it's been a long time since I came here, do you want to let me go back like this?" Tuki was slightly surprised when he heard this as he felt the voice was so familiar. When he looked up, he saw a man with silver-white hair. "Kakashi? When did you come back?" Tuki said with a happy expression. Tuki still remembered Kakashi even if Kakashi hasn't come to his restaurant for a long time. After all, Kakashi is the Hidden Leaf Village's hero. And Kakashi has been in his restaurant a lot since he was a child, and it is difficult to forget about him. "I just came back. As I miss the taste of your ramen, I came here to get some," Kakashi said with a smile. Tuki smiled and said, "Haha, you haven't come here for almost 2 years. So it makes sense that you miss the taste. Yeah, your ramen is really delicious. But, Tuki-san, why did you just say that you are not doing business today?" Kakashi asked doubtfully. Hearing Kakashi's question, the joy on Tuki's face began to fade, and his expression returned to the melancholy expression like before. Upon seeing this, Kakashi knew that something was wrong. "Tuki-san? What happened? Tell me if you have any troubles. If I can help, I will definitely help you," Kakashi said sincerely. Tuki sighed and said, "Kakashi, you can't help with this." "Tuki-san, you haven't said anything yet, so how do you know that I can't help?" Kakashi said helplessly. Tuki glanced at Kakashi for a while. He then stood up, walked into the back kitchen, brought out a bowl of noodles, and handed it to Kakashi. Kakashi said, "Tuki-san, what? Just eat and see it for yourself." Tuki said and did not directly answer Kakashi. Kakashi looked at the bowl of noodles. Although there was still some steam left, it was not newly cooked. There was only half a bowl left, which meant that it had been eaten before. However, after hearing Tuki's words, Kakashi did not think much as he took a chopstick and took a bite. Upon taking a bite, Kakashi's eyes widened suddenly, and he couldn't help but said, "It's delicious." Then he held up the bowl and drank a big mouthful of soup. After drinking the soup, Kakashi exclaimed, "This soup is also very good. It seems to be a bone soup that has been simmered for a long time, with some delicacies added. Tuki-san, is this your newly developed ramen? It tastes great. It is more delicious than before." Kakashi praised it again, but Tuki didn't look happy at all. Instead he became more gloomy. Seeing that something was wrong, Kakashi asked, "What's wrong, Tuki-san?" Tuki sighed and said, "Kakashi, I didn't make this ramen." "Huh? Tuki-san didn't make this?" Kakashi was surprised when he heard this. "Yeah, I didn't." "That? What's going on?" Kakashi asked. Tuki did not directly answer Kakashi's question, but said, "Kakashi, do you know about cooking nin?" "Cooking nin?" Kakashi stunned for a moment, and then said, "I know about them. Shinobi usually eats in the wilderness when they are on mission. Although there are such things as soldier pills, it is not delicious. Therefore, Shinobi hope to eat delicious food in the wilderness. After that, the existence called cooking nin was born. They can take the ingredients from anywhere and cook it deliciously. Many Shinobi teams like to bring cooking nin on their mission." Tuki nodded and said, "Yes, it is that cooking nin. So why did you talk about this, Tuki-san? Are you also cooking nin?" Kakashi asked in surprise. Tuki shook his head and said, "No, I'm not. It's like this. When I was young, I learned the craft of making ramen in a ramen restaurant. When I was studying at that place, there was also another person. His name is Hakaku. He is my junior brother. After I finished my study, I came to Hidden Lee village and started a ramen restaurant. And Hakaku went to another Shinobi village and became a cooking nin." "Did you mean that your junior brother came to find you, Tuki-san? Isn't that a good thing?" Kakashi said. Tuki nodded and said, "Yes, my junior brother did come here to find me, but it was not a good thing. Could it be he came to cause some troubles?" Kakashi speculated. "It can be said like that. This bowl of ramen was made by him," Tuki said, pointing to the bowl of ramen Kakashi had just eaten. "So, does that mean that your junior brother come here to challenge you? And the topic of the challenge is ramen? Then, Tuki-san, you lost?" Kakashi speculated. Tuki nodded with a gloomy expression and said, "Yeah, the moment I ate this ramen, I knew I had lost." Chapter 369. Helping Kakashi looked at the bowl of ramen in his hand. Indeed, the taste of the soup and the texture of the noodles in this ramen were better than the ramen made by Tuki-san. If it is a face-to-face confrontation, Tuki-san has indeed lost. Kakashi then said, "Tuki-san, it's okay. Victory or defeat is a common in our life. It is also a good thing to have a goal now that you taste defeat." Tuki was taken aback for a moment, and said, "That's true, but..." "But what?" Kakashi wondered. Hakaku does not intend to end this. Kakashi's eye narrowed and then he said, "What do you mean?" Tuki once again sighed and said, "This thing started from more than a year ago. At that time, Hakaku came to me and hoped that I could hand over the phantom recipe, but I didn't know what it was. Hakaku thought I was hiding it from him, so he kidnapped Ayam. Hakaku gave me two choices, one is to hand over the phantom recipe, and the other is to make the dishes that can satisfy him." Kakashi was a little surprised when he heard this. The results. "It took me half a month to develop a new soup, but my arms were injured and I couldn't make a good ramen with my injury. Fortunately, there were Naruto, Choji and Sakura who helped me. I was able to make the ramen that can satisfy Hakaku and save Ayam. The misunderstanding of the phantom recipe was also resolved after I explained it to Hakaku. Isn't that very good? Then how come this Hakaku is coming again?" Kakashi wondered. This time, Hakaku came here because he also developed a ramen, which is the one you just ate. To be honest, the taste of this ramen makes me feel uncomfortable. The unspeakable deliciousness is something that I have never tasted before. Tuki-san, your ramen is also very delicious. It is not much worse than this bowl of ramen, Kakashi said. Kakashi is telling the truth. Even if the ramen that he just ate is really amazing, Tuki's ramen is definitely not that far behind from this ramen. Although there is a gap between the two, the gap is definitely not big. "Thank you, Kakashi. Hakaku said that he gave me 3 days. If I can't develop something more delicious than this ramen, then he will open a ramen restaurant opposite my restaurant. At that time, I am afraid." So that's what happened. Tuki-san, you don't have to worry, even if he opened a ramen restaurant, I believe that everyone will come to you to eat ramen, Kakashi said. No, Kakashi, you don't understand. Our teacher has a rule. It is absolutely not allowed for senior brother to open a shop in the same village as the junior brother. This is the iron rule he created. No one can change it. Tuki said seriously. Kakashi said, doesn't that mean? Tuki nodded and said, yes, if I lose, I must leave Hidden Leaf Village. Tuki said. He looks all around the restaurant. The bricks and tiles here were all built by him. He has lived here for more than 30 years. He really can't bear it to leave Hidden Leaf Village and his restaurant. But his skill is not as good as his junior brother, so Tuki has no choice but to leave. Tuki-san, this is wrong. Everyone likes your craft. If you leave, everyone will not be able to eat your delicious ramen anymore. Kakashi said anxiously. Kakashi, I don't want to leave either, it's just that. At this moment, Ayam came out from the back kitchen and said, San, we still have a chance. We still have 3 days. We certainly can make something more delicious than that hakkaku. Tuki was stunned for a moment and said, Ayam. Kakashi then said, Tuki-san, Ayam is right, you can't just give up. There are still 3 days, so you still have a chance. As long as everyone works together, you will definitely succeed. Tuki was moved when he heard Kakashi's words, and then he said, Kakashi, thank you. I understand. I will never give up. Tuki slapped his sleeves, as if he was going to do a big job. Tuki-san, I will help you, Kakashi said. Hearing this, Tuki smiled and said, haha, thank you Kakashi, but you are not good at this kind of thing so leave it to me. You are wrong about that, Tuki-san. Oh? So you can cook, Kakashi? Tuki said with some surprise. Of course, I have fed myself by my own craft since I was a kid. Kakashi said with a smile. Haha, if that's the case, let's work hard together. We should buy some ingredients first. Well, Tuki-san, I have an idea, maybe we can try it out, Kakashi said. Oh? What is it? Asked Tuki curiously. Kakashi showed a mysterious smile and said, you will know later, I'll get the materials first. After Kakashi finished speaking, he left a kairaku ramen. It is unknown where he went to. Ayam was puzzled and asked, San, what is big brother Kakashi going to do? Tuki shook his head and said, I don't know, but it should be a good idea. After all, he looks so confident. I hope so, otherwise. Ayam's expression became a little worried. After all, if Tuki couldn't beat Hakkaku this time, they would really have to leave Hidden Leaf Village. As Hidden Leaf Village is the place where she grew up, she didn't want to leave. Seeing the expression on Ayam's face, Tuki naturally knew what Ayam was thinking. Ayam, don't worry, San will never lose. Yeah. Kakashi left the center of the village and reached the outskirts of the village. There is a small river in front of him. Although I don't know if this idea can be done in this world, if it can succeed, we should be able to win. Kakashi muttered to himself while looking at the small river. Although there is a market in Hidden Leaf Village, the fish there is not as fresh as the fish that he caught. There should be the fish I want here. Kakashi stood still on the water, his eye narrowed slightly. A gust of wind blew, and suddenly Kakashi's eyes lit up. He quickly reached out to touch the bottom of the river. Splash. Splashing water sounded, and then, a fish that is longer than 40 centimeters appeared in Kakashi's hands. The fish has a long body, a flat head and a flat tail. It is brownish yellow. The most obvious feature is that his fish has 4 beards, which are long on the top and short on the bottom. It is catfish. Caught it. Next, I need to find the other ingredients. Half an hour later, Kakashi returned to a kairaku ramen with the ingredients. Big brother Kakashi, you're back. What are these? Asked Ayam. Kakashi smiled and said, these are the ingredients I have prepared. Why are there so many fishes? Ayam asked curiously. You'll know later. What about Tuki-san? Hearing this, Ayam answered with a worried tone, Dad is researching new ramen in the kitchen, and I don't know how the situation is. Is that so? Then, I will go see it. Okay. Kakashi walked into the kitchen with his ingredients. As soon as he entered, Kakashi saw an incredible scene. He saw that Tuki is constantly kneading the dough, the movement range is extremely large, and his movement is also extremely fast. The shape of the noodle slowly appeared, and then Tuki took the noodles and threw it accurately into the soup. What is even more amazing is that at such a long distance, there is not much water splashing. Chapter 370 Another use of chakra. At this time, Tuki also saw Kakashi and smiled. Oh, Kakashi, you are back. Did you find the ingredients you are looking for? Kakashi lifted the bag in his hand and said, I found it. Oh? What is it? Tuki asked with interest. Kakashi did not speak, but took the things out of the bag. This is sea bream? Catfish? And shredded squid? Tuki asked in surprise. Yes, These are the ingredients I have prepared. Is this to make the soup? Sea bream does taste good in soup, but won't adding catfish and squid taste strange? Tuki wondered. No, only the sea bream is used to make the soup. The catfish and squid will be used to make noodles. Huh? Tuki is really confused. He has been making ramen for 30 years, and he has never heard of something like this before. Kakashi smiled and said, Tuki-san, can you lend me the kitchen? Of course, I am also curious about what kind of ramen you will make. Tuki said with a smile. I won't let you be disappointed, Tuki-san. Tuki left the kitchen and walked to the front. San? Why did come you out? I asked. Kakashi said that he wants to borrow the kitchen to make a ramen, so I came out, said Tuki. What? Can Big Brother Kakashi really make super delicious ramen? I said expectantly. I don't know, but it's okay to let him try. I really hope that Big Brother Kakashi can succeed. That way, we can win. We still have to rely on our own strength in the end, said Tuki. I know, but if Big Brother Kakashi can succeed, we will be halfway to success. Yeah. Tuki nodded when he heard this. If Kakashi can really make something more delicious than Hakaku's ramen, then the outcome is basically decided. In the kitchen, Kakashi is already busy. These ingredients were taken out by Kakashi. The thing that Kakashi wanted to make is the legendary magical cuisine, the seafood catfish noodles. Kakashi has never tried it before, but, since he has a chance this time, he can give it a try. The principle of seafood catfish noodles is not difficult, but it's still kind of hard to make. Anyway, let's try it first. The first is the soup part. Kakashi processed the sea bream and then threw it into the pot. After a while, the soup starts boiling. The next part of the noodles, if it doesn't work, then I can't create the dish. The focus of seafood catfish noodles is this part. Although the whole dish is called noodles, it actually does not use any flour, but instead uses catfish meat. Although the meat of catfish is fragrant and soft, it does not reflect the characteristics of noodles. So at this time, the shredded squid is needed. And there is a big problem in this, that is, how to mix the catfish meat and shredded squid. If I add other ingredients, it is likely to produce other peculiar smells, which cannot reflect the essence of the bowl of noodles, that is, the taste of seafood. The Hakaku's ramen from before is very delicious, so if I want to win against it, I need to find the most suitable method so that I don't destroy the seafood taste. So I need to mix the catfish and squid without destroying the taste, and make so that it has the same texture as normal noodles. Kakashi touched his chin and muttered, it seems that the only way is to use the shinobi style. Kakashi smiled and then, blue chakra appeared in his hand. Looking at the chopped catfish in front of him and the finely sliced dried squid shreds, Kakashi's hands began to shake. The blue chakra is attached to the squid shreds, and the chakra nature at this moment is the water attribute. Kakashi can use all of chakra attribute. Naturally, he won't waste this kind of resource. All of 5 kinds of nature changes have been mastered by Kakashi, but Kakashi's best suite is the lightning release. The water attribute makes the blue chakra sticky. At this moment, attaching this chakra to the squid shreds can make it have a certain viscosity, and this viscosity can make the catfish meat stick with the squid shreds. Each of Kakashi's squid shreds is attached with water attribute chakra, and then, a layer of catfish meat is wrapped around it. With the help of chakra, the squid shreds and the catfish meat were firmly wrapped together. It's a success. Kakashi said joyfully. At this time, the sea bream soup has also been boiled, and Kakashi did not waste any time. He adds various seasonings to the prepared catfish noodles, and then throw the noodles into the soup. The rest is the toppings. Kakashi took out a kunai, cut the remaining fish into rolls. After all of this, Kakashi finally finished making the ramen. It's done. After Kakashi said this, bursts of strong fragrance drifted in the kitchen. Tuki and Iom, who were outside the kitchen, also smelled this smell. This smell is... Tuki said in surprise. It's so fragrant. Was it made by Big Brother Kakashi? Amazing. Iom said joyfully. At this time, Kakashi came out of the kitchen with 2 bowls of ramen. He looked at Tuki and Iom and then said, it's done, do you want to try it? Yeah, I want to try it. It's so fragrant, so it must be delicious. Big Brother Kakashi, you are so amazing. Iom said admiringly. Haha, let's try it first. I have no confidence in cooking this thing as this is my first time making this, Kakashi said. When I heard this sentence, I know that it will not be bad. Iom said excitedly. Tuki also nodded and said, no matter what your noodles are like, just the aroma of the soup has shown that you do a great job. It seems that you really have a great culinary skill, Kakashi. Thank you for your compliment, Tuki-san. Eat it while it's hot and see how it tastes. Okay, okay. Iom took the bowl from Kakashi and put it on the table, ready to start eating. Tuki also took the bowl and picked up spoon and chopstick. If you eat noodles, you should drink the soup first. The taste of the soup determines to a large extent whether the ramen is successful or not. Tuki said, taking a sip of the soup and put it to his mouth. Ayam also did the same. After the soup got into their throat, Tuki and Ayam's complexions changed, and then they showed a happy expression. There seemed to be a volcano erupting in their hearts. This taste is really indescribable, it's so delicious, it's like a sea bream is swimming in my mouth. The feeling of freshness is simply indescribable. Tuki exclaimed. Yes, the deliciousness at the start, followed by a sweet taste, and then unspeakable and wonderful taste. This soup is like a bowl of magical fish soup. Ayam said excitedly. Chapter 371 Tuki's persistence. Next is the noodle part. Tuki said with some excitement. After tasting the soup, Tuki has a certain degree of confidence in Kakashi's cooking skills. If the noodle can be worthy of the soup, then it won't be a problem to beat Takaku. Tuki and Ayam looked at each other, and then, they started to pick up the noodles together. This noodle seems weird. Tuki said he looked at the noodles Kakashi made. Tuki has made noodles for all of his life, so he naturally knows what the noodles should usually look like. But seeing the noodles now, he feels that his worldview seems is getting subverted. Yeah, this noodle doesn't seem to be made of flour. Ayam said curiously. Kakashi smiled and said, it is indeed not made of flour, but you should try it. The two were a little curious about the noodle, so they didn't think too much, and put the noodles into their mouths. Huh. Tuki and Ayam felt that a bolt of lightning seems to strike inside their minds at this moment. This taste. Tuki was dumbfounded. Is this noodle? What a strong umami. This is the taste of the sea. Eating the spite of noodles making him felt that his whole body is on the bottom of the sea, and the suffocating delicacy continues to roll from the tip of his tongue. Kakashi said before that he is using catfish to make noodles, but if it was catfish, how could it be so chewy? What kind of secret is hidden inside this noodle? Tuki's gaze landed on the noodle. Huh? This noodle has something on the inside. Tuki said in shock. At this time, Ayam also awoke from the taste of the noodles. She looked at the noodles, and sure enough, she saw that there was a filling in the noodles. Tux chewed the noodles again, and said, this is squid. You actually added squid in it? Yes, although the catfish is delicious, it can't make the noodles as chewy, and the shredded squid has a very strong chewiness. So, the combination of the two makes it possible to make noodles with a great taste even without flour. Kakashi said. He then takes out another bowl of ramen and tastes it. The taste is indeed very delicious, not inferior or even slightly better than the one Tuki-san usually sold. Tuki looked at Kakashi in shock. His eyes seemed to say, young man, you sure have a lot of ideas, let's just cook with me from now on. Kakashi, you are a genius in making ramen. For you to think of this way to create ramen, it's amazing. Tuki said emotionally. Kakashi was a little bit dumbfounded when he heard this. Although he is praised as a genius since he was a child, it is the first time for him to be called a genius of ramen. Tuki-san, this idea is not something I came up with. When I was traveling, I saw a chef doing this, so I just copy it. So it's like that. As expected of the copy ninja, Kakashi, you can even actually copy cooking too. Amazing. Can you tell me the name of this chef? Kakashi smiled and said, his name is Liu Maoxing, and he has a nickname called Chuka Ikaban. Chuka Ikaban? What a strange name. No, maybe it's because of that he has such a whimsical idea in cooking. The soup of sea bream, the noodles made of catfish and squid, it did not use flour at all, but was able to create such delicious ramen dish. Tuki said excitedly. At this time, Ayam has finished her bowl of ramen and said with excitement, Big brother Kakashi, you are so amazing. San, if you can make this bowl of ramen, you will definitely win. Upon hearing this, Tuki thought for a while. He then said, it's not that simple. Kakashi, you made this combination of catfish and squid with the help of chakra, right? Kakashi was taken aback as he didn't expect Tuki to know about this. Yeah, I used water attribute chakra, to apply that kind of viscosity and combine the two to complete the creation of the noodle. Sure enough it's like that. But, I am not shinobi, so I cannot do this kind of thing. Tuki sighed. San, it's okay, we can ask big brother Kakashi to help. Said Ayam. Hearing this, the Tuki refused. Ayam, that is cheating. I can't accept it. I want to win with my own way of cooking. Tuki said sternly. San. Well, it's fine. After tasting this ramen, I have some inspirations. 3 days are enough time for me to make a new type of ramen. Kakashi, thank you. I am honored to be able to help you, Kakashi said. Tuki patted Kakashi on the shoulder and walked into the kitchen happily. San is too stubborn. If we lose, we must leave Hidden Leaf Village. Don't blame Tuki-san. As a chef, he has his own dignity, and it is normal that he wanted to win without cheating. You have to believe in your father. He will be successful, Kakashi said. Upon hearing this, Ayam looked at Kakashi, and said, I understand, thank you, big brother Kakashi. Kakashi smiled, did not say anything, and just looked at the kitchen. Is it really possible for Tuki to create new ramen? Kakashi didn't know, but he believed Tuki could do it. Kakashi believed so because Tuki is the owner of Ikiraku Ramen, the best ramen restaurant in the world. 3 days passed quickly. Kakashi's position is almost arranged. He will take the over position tomorrow. I don't know what happened to Tuki-san. I should go and have a look. Kakashi said, and go to Ikiraku Ramen again. Big brother Kakashi, you are here. Ayam said with joy. Yeah, how is Tuki-san's research? I don't know, San has been in the kitchen for 3 days. I don't know what he is doing. Ayam said with some worry. Is that so? Kakashi murmured. At this time, a man in his 40s walked in. He looked ordinary. The most distinctive feature was a black mask on his nose. The mask didn't cover anything, but the nose. Ayam, where is your father? Hakaku? Why are you here? Ayam was surprised. Hearing this, Kakashi looked at the one called Hakaku. This person is Hakaku? He really has such an ordinary face. The 3-day deadline has arrived. I naturally want to come over and to see the result. If he can't make the dish that makes me admit defeat, tomorrow, I will open my restaurant at the opposite of this. Hakaku said with a sneer. You are too much. Why do you want to open your restaurant in Hidden Leaf Village? Of course it is because Hidden Leaf Village's environment is very good. As the best of the 5 great shinobi villages, Hidden Leaf Village's system is so much better than other shinobi villages. Opening a shop here is also the safest. The most important thing is that I will be able to defeat Tuki. This is all I want all this time. Hakaku said excitedly. Humphrey. You must be dreaming. San will never lose. Ayam's face puffed up with anger. Haha, that's not necessarily true. 3 days ago, Tuki has shown desperate look. I don't believe that in these 3 days, Tuki can make a dish that beats my ramen. That's not necessarily true, Kakashi said. Huh? Who are you? Asked Hakaku. Facing Kakashi, Hakaku didn't dare to be too arrogant. It is because there is Hidden Leaf Village's forehead protector on Kakashi's head, and Kakashi is also wearing Hidden Leaf Village's jonin vest. Such a person is obviously not someone who Hakaku can offend. Before, Hakaku thought Kakashi was just a customer, but now he knew that Kakashi is Tuki's helper. Hidden Leaf Village jonin, Kakashi Hatake. Hakaku was shocked when he heard this. After all, Kakashi is very famous in the shinobi world, so he didn't expect Kakashi to appear in front of his eyes. What do you want to do? This is the grievance between me and Tuki. You can't interfere in this. Hakaku said anxiously. Don't worry, I have no plan to intervene. I know that you will be defeated by Tuki-san. Kakashi said with a smile. Kakashi's smile made Hakaku quite uncomfortable. He then said, Humphrey, that's impossible. At this moment, a strong fragrance suddenly emerged from the kitchen, making the 3 people silent for a while. Hakaku was shocked and said, This smell. How is it possible? It's so rich. It can give me such a strong impact even when I'm wearing a mask. Is this the smell of the sea? San. Ayam exclaimed in surprise. At this time, Tuki came out of the kitchen with an excited smile on his face, and he is also holding a bowl of ramen in his hand. Oh? Hakaku? You are just right on time, this is my special seafood noodles. Tuki said as he put the ramen in the front of Hakaku. Humphrey, it's useless if it's just the smell. If the ramen is not delicious, everything is in vain, said Hakaku. He then took a spoon, and takes a sip at the soup. Huh? Hakaku's eyes widened instantly. This taste. Hakaku said as he tastes the soup. He then picked up the noodle and swallowed it in one bite. Boom. The noodle seemed to burst in Hakaku's mouth, and the unparalleled terrifying strength spreads in an instant. This. What kind of noodle is this? How can it be so chewy? Hakaku looked at the ramen in front of him in shock, but his hands didn't stop at all. He ate the ramen bite by bite. In the end, he didn't even let the last drop of the soup go. He ate it all. Both Ayam and Kakashi are happy when they saw this. With such performance, the outcome is already obvious. It's really a delicious ramen that people can't stop eating. I can't even control myself. Tuki, how did you make it? I can understand the taste of the soup, but how can the noodle be so delicious? Hakaku said in disbelief. Tuki laughed and said, Ha ha ha, this is the noodle I make after researching for 3 days. I called this, Taki Special Seafood Noodles. The delicious fish soup is used to blend the perfect fish dough, and then every squid shreds are added to each noodle, making its texture even more powerful. After countless failures, I finally succeeded. What? It was actually added with squid. And it is every one of the noodle. What a patience, said the shocked Hakaku. Hearing this, Kakashi secretly thought, it turned out that Taki-san gave up the catfish meat as the shell of the noodles, but extracted all the umami into the dough. It takes a lot of effort to calculate the best proportion. Hakaku, how is it? I won this time, right? Taki said with a smile. Hakaku showed a gloomy expression as he knew that he did lose. At the moment he ate all the noodles, he lost. Hakaku didn't try to deny the result. As a cooking nin, he has his own pride and will accept the result. Taki, you are really good. This time, I lost, but I will come back again. After Hakaku finished speaking, he turned around and left. Great. San, we won, said Ayamu excitedly. Taki also said triumphantly, yes, we won. Ha ha ha, Kakashi, thank you so much for your help this time. Kakashi smiled and said, it's nothing, I just made an idea. Taki-san, you beat Hakaku with your own ability. In any case, I owe you a favor, and I will definitely pay you back in the future. Taki said with a smile. Kakashi didn't refuse when he heard this. He knew about Taki's straightforward personality. So it won't be good if he refused him. Chapter 372 Commander, welcome back. Kakashi didn't really care about the favor from Taki. After all, with Kakashi's strength, there should be nothing Taki can help him with. This event is officially over, and Ikiraku Ramen reopened, and it was full in an instant. Kakashi didn't stay there, and went to the Hokage Tower. Lady Tsunade, Kakashi said softly. Kakashi, how is your rest these days? Tsunade said with a smile. Not bad, I helped Taki-san to make a bowl of ramen. Ramen? I don't think you have this kind of skill. Tsunade said in surprise. My skill is just average. Well, let's not talk about it. Since you are back, then you should take over the Anbu's matter again, Tsunade said. Yeah, I understand. Kakashi said, this was something that he has expected a long time ago, and it was nothing strange. Good, then go to Yamato to take it over. I have already prepared him for these few days. I understand. Tsunade looked at Shizune who was on the side, and said, Shizune, please tell the detail to Kakashi. Yes. Lady Tsunade. Shizune said. Okay, you two can go to Anbu's base together, Tsunade said. On the way, Shizune said, Kakashi-senpai, this time you have left for 2 years, the impact on Anbu is great. Many things can only be temporarily suppressed and needed for you to come back to deal with. Huh? What is it? With Yamato's ability, general things should be no problem, Kakashi was surprised. Well, although Yamato's ability is good, it can't convince the crowd. You should know that this batch of Anbu was nurtured by Lord Third. Except for Lord Third, only Kakashi-senpai can make them obedient. Although Lady Tsunade's prestige is good, Lady Tsunade has been away from the village for too long after all. So it will take some time to make the Anbu to have full allegiance towards Lady Tsunade. Shizune explained. Hearing this, Kakashi was surprised. But the truth is very simple, after all, these Anbu are Lord Third's teams, so it won't be easy for Tsunade to get their loyalties. Although Tsunade has prestige, she has left Hidden Leaf Village since the Second Shinobi World War and she did not participate in the Third Shinobi World War. Therefore, most of the people who have an impression of Tsunade are middle-aged shinobi. These Anbu have a lot of young blood. Although they have heard Tsunade's name before, they have never seen Tsunade's glorious era. Therefore, some dissatisfaction towards Tsunade still exists. But Kakashi is different. Although not all of these Anbu are hand-picked by Kakashi, they all admire Kakashi's strength. Especially when the 18-years-old Kakashi defeated the Lord Fourth Raikage, and planted a lasting impression in the hearts of this group of people. In addition, originally, Lord Third was nurturing Kakashi as the next Hokage, so these Anbu more or less have good relationships with Kakashi. Therefore, Kakashi, the Anbu commander, is someone the Anbu will listen. At the beginning, there were so many people who supported Kakashi as the Lord Fifth Hokage. Although Kakashi finally pushed away the position of the Lord Fifth Hokage, in the eyes of these people, Kakashi will sooner or later take the position. Although Kakashi's departure was Kakashi's choice, in the eyes of these people, Tsunade must have forced Kakashi to leave. Therefore, this also caused their dissatisfaction. The situation of working without effort is even more frequent. Fortunately, there was Lord Third mediating the Anbu, so the contradiction was eased a lot. I didn't expect that my departure this time would have such a big impact on the Anbu. Kakashi didn't know whether to cry or laugh after hearing all of this information. It's okay, After all, with Lord Third's help, this thing eased by a lot. Shizune said with a smile. I'm sorry, I will take care of this, Kakashi said. Then I will trouble you. Shizune bowed. It's fine, this was originally my fault. Then I won't bother you anymore. Lady Tsunade still has a lot of things waiting for me to deal with. Sorry to bother you. Shizune smiled and left. Kakashi retracted his gaze, sighed faintly, and murmured, I didn't expect that when I left Anbu, these things would happen, it is really troublesome. Kakashi didn't think much, and walked towards the Anbu's base. Kakashi naturally able to enter the Anbu's base unobstructed. It's just that everyone was surprised when they saw Kakashi, and some were even ecstatic. Their commander is back. The real king in their hearts is back. Although Anbu's base is an indifferent place, the news was quickly passed on. The 6th team. Anbu's legendary department. Now, this squad is no longer an ordinary squad, but a gathering place for high-level Anbu. Kakashi pushed open the door of the 6th team's room, and in front of him, 9 people stood neatly. The leader is Yamato. Yamato looked at Kakashi and said with a smile, Commander, welcome back to Anbu. Commander. Welcome back. 9 people shouted and their voices deafening. The 9 people bowed to Kakashi at the same time. Kakashi was taken aback. He probably didn't expect that these 9 people would actually welcome him back like this. Soon, Kakashi reacted and smiled, thank you everyone. The 9 people looked at Kakashi and smiled. The strength of these 9 people belonged to the top of Anbu. Although Yamato was the leader, his strength was not the strongest. The reason why Kakashi let Yamato manage Anbu's affairs after he left is because Yamato has followed Kakashi for the longest time and is also the most familiar with Anbu's affairs. At the same time, Yamato's popularity in Anbu is also very good. More importantly, everyone in Anbu knows that Kakashi and Yamato's relationships are really good, so there is not much rejection of Yamato's instructions. If they switch to another person, it won't have this effect. At this time, a white-eyed youth took the lead and said, Commander, why did you leave Anbu before? Is it because Lady Tsunade? Before the white-eyed youth finished speaking, Kakashi's cold eyes fell on him. The white-eyed youth's body collapsed, and then he forcibly swallowed back his words. This white-eyed youth is called the Hyuga Taiga, who is very powerful and was a former subordinate of Kakashi. During the mission with Kakashi, he was rescued by Kakashi several times. And Hyuga Taiga's strength right now is also inseparable from Kakashi's training. It can be said that the Hyuga Taiga's adoration and gratitude for Kakashi is the strongest in the entire Anbu. Therefore, he has the strongest reaction towards Kakashi's departure. Taiga, don't comment on Lady Tsunade casually. I know that you are kind, but I chose to leave myself. I applied to Tsunade for the leave because I have to deal with a very important thing and it is completely different from what you have in mind. Hyuga Taiga didn't believe it, and said, is that really the case? When did I, Kakashi Hatake, lie to you? As soon as this word came out, Hyuga Taiga no longer has any doubt. Yes. Commander. Chapter 373 Sharing and Integration. After Kakashi returned, the hostility inside the Anbu all subsided within a few days.